Welcome everybody to MogTalk episode 195. Today is January 4th, 2020. If you guys have not watched MogTalk before, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And before we start on our today's topic, which is going to be the state of PvP, I want to make sure you guys know who's on the stream, so they're not just sitting here awkwardly looking at you, except for Mateo's kind of looking. He's very still. He's very still. But it's all right. I'm going to go clockwise here, so that means I'm going to start with Thana. Thana, tell everybody who you are.
Hi guys, I'm Thana, and what you might know me best for is probably my YouTube and my streams, like past fucking year or two ago, maybe. And then PvP Pasta as well. I'm a staff member there, and people call me Daddy there, so it's a couple things, I guess.
Okay, all right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, Brian.
Hey, I'm Brian Ricardo. I stream PvP year-round. I lead the Revival Wings Discord. That's a Revival Wings Discord. And I played Red Mage in FRC for NA.
Okay, all right. Maybe not playing Red Mage right now, though.
Correct.
Anyways, Mateo, if you can go.
Yo, what's up? I'm Mateo. Likewise as Thana, I'm a staff member in PvP Paisa. I am the FRC 2018.
Man, you were real quiet, dude. You need to speak up.
Man, I was pretty hyped, talking about tzatziki ice cream, but now I'm not as hyped, so I'm trying to control.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. Like I said, I don't know if you guys heard me other than Frosty.
Okay.
Yeah, my team won the thing, and I'm here now. We're gonna talk, man. We're gonna chat.
All right. And Gab.
I'm Gabriel Fujin. I've got rank 1 in season 13, and I won the FFXIV with my team in 2018.
Okay. All right.
I should probably mention that I was also in FRC just to get some validation,
Yeah. And Brian was in FRC as well. And so you can see we all have these jerseys on that is from the FRC. I was not competing, but I was watching people compete and talking about it. So there you go.
Good job, Frosty.
Thank you. So
Show on the back, Frosty.
What?
Or does your name show on the back?
It does. I don't know if I can get it.
Everybody turn around.
Can't really get it too well there.
Oh, no. Yeah, we can see it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Anyways, guys, the reason why we're doing today's show is because we haven't talked about PvP in a while, and there's a good reason why we haven't talked about PvP in a while on this show, because it hasn't been really active in the game for a while. But now we have, the new Frontlines, the new season of Feast coming in, and so I wanted to have a discussion on it so we can start talking about the state of PvP in Shadowbringers as compared to maybe how we've been used to it. Oh my god. Already. Who said that? So I heard somebody say shit. Oh, you said shit?
No one said it.
I'm hearing shit.
I didn't hear it.
I'm going insane.
I'm innocent.
Hearing shit?
Okay, I'm hearing shit. Because as soon as I said the state of PvP and I heard shit, maybe that's just like a reflex in my head.
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not. I don't know. I played a decent amount recently, and I think it's all right. I'll reserve my comments for right now. But that being said, I wanted to talk about PvP and how it's been going in Shadowbringers at least recently, and they've made a lot of changes. A lot of the changes were things that people have yelled about wanting for a very long time, and now we're kind of experiencing some of those changes. There's other things maybe we didn't want that change. For example, we probably wanted cover to stay, right, guys? We wanted cover to stay in the game.
I don't think anyone wanted
Sorry about that.
Okay. Anyways, how do you guys feel currently about the state of PvP compared to how it was in 4.x?
I can go first, I guess.
Sure.
If no one's talking. I think the game right now is not balanced at all.
Okay.
I can go more about that now if you want.
Well, I mean,
floor's yours.
Yeah. First of all, like in 4.x, the meta was pressure and hard swaps. Right now, we have only pressure. You just hit a target all day long until he has no pots. No pots, no cooldowns, and he dies.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, that's how it is, in my honest opinion.
I mean, would you guys all agree that's kind of what it is in Feast right now? Is that you basically just attack the same person until they die, and that's it?
Well, there's definitely some swapping, but as soon as you run out all the cooldowns and potions, yeah, that's true. You just put
That's
your
what it
down.
becomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like, I mean, overall, yes, I do agree. But there's some good additions. Like, I think the potions overall are a good thing. But I don't wanna bash the 14 player base too much. But I'm just say that it feels like a lot of the times people don't do a lot of research when they get into it, and they get into it like kind of blind, which is really bad when you got a rank mode on your hands. So when people get into a mode where they don't know what's going on or whatever, and they don't use pots, which are essential for surviving, it becomes not so great. So there's a lot of player responsibility, which isn't present a lot of the time. So it's a good and a bad thing.
Well, I mean, I think the only way to really get rid of that is to have a larger player base, so you could separate yourself from that newer beginning of everything. But I mean, that's always the goal in the end. Mateo, do you have any thoughts you want to throw on as well?
You know what I actually do kind of like? I think it's the right idea. It's a step in the right direction. Is that like even more so now? It's a fact that survival is not just dependent on one person, right? It's dependent on the entire team. It was such a thing before, right? Like everybody had, credit to surviving, but now it's like, holy crap, your weak links will be exposed. Like 100%. If there's a weak link on your team, you just hammer that person, and more often than not, man, it's gonna be a tank. Like I hate to say it, but I'm just gonna say it. 4.x. You had a lot of warriors that would just kind of like butcher's block, you know what I mean? And you're kind of good. You get a really good rank. You don't need much, man. You had like people like Brian, for example, that made that class work to a next level.
I did. I introduced Warrior. I'm taking credit for that, dude.
Were you Paladin or Warrior?
I played Warrior. I was like, man, you guys are bashing on Warrior too much. I went in there and just went crazy and just beat the hell out of everybody a whole bunch with just attacking full aggression. And everybody's like, maybe it's okay. And then actually good players started playing it, and they did well.
What I
remember are you so humble today?
What I remember about 4.x Warrior is that me and you and Frost used to go against each other, and I would like force stack, and you'd get super mad at me for like force stacking. And then like everyone started doing it too.
Yeah, it's like, wow, everybody's stupid. No. Anyways, no. I mean, everybody was really pissed off in the transition from 3.x to 4.x. Not everybody. I say half the population really hated it. Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah, I can see at least one person on the show. I think everybody on the show here probably didn't like the changes going down to more simplistic mode. They have kind of expanded it and added more actions in there. Do you guys feel like those actions have helped and people aren't upset with these changes like they were back in 4.x?
I haven't really checked on any sort of general consensus, but I feel like there's a couple outliers that people really aren't happy about, like Sprint, for example. I feel like people really aren't digging. But I mean, that's probably a very divisive take, or like, I don't think everyone agrees on that, but it feels like to me that most people. But overall, yes, I do enjoy the fact that they've increased their abilities. Definitely, yes. Before it was way too little.
Right.
It was way too bare bones.
I want to say that I like the most changes. I like the bots since they reduced the carry potential of healers.
Yeah.
But like we have right now some classes that are top by far. Like Dancer, for instance, with Monk, you cannot kill the Monk. You just ignore it. He's a tank. And you just hit the tank afterwards. It's pathetic in my opinion, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of interesting.
Go ahead.
Real quick, it's kind of interesting is to build on that. One thing I think where they quote unquote failed on the design aspect is that sure there were meta jobs in 3.x, there were meta jobs in 4.x, right? That's always going to be a thing. There's going to be community's going to find that out. However, now, like, I'm sorry to say, but it feels like that meta is like even more condensed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, like 4.x, sure, ninjas were like memed on, right? Like ninjas were quote unquote not good, but actually, like, you look at like somebody like Lloyd, or even Stragus when he played it, like they made it work, and it wasn't that drastic of a difference between like you know, like a good monk versus like a good ninja now. Not melees are pretty good now. Like monk is pretty damn strong and dancer's pretty damn strong. But there's some jobs, man, right now. Like scholar's still pretty damn bad. Right? It's kind
It's
of
unplayable.
disappointing.
So
I-
I want to throw in one comment here just to make sure everybody understands as well. And this is good. I mean, I had it near the end of the documents, but it doesn't matter. Again, it just feels right to talk about it right now. Is that Square Enix started this feast season saying there's a lot of changes that they wanted to implement, and they are not doing it yet because they just wanted to go ahead and throw out something for us to do while they make those changes. So everything that we're talking about right now with PvP and the changes, we have no clue how solidified it is. We don't know if it's going to change into something completely different, a completely different game mode even. We just know that this is a season of Feast, and these are the changes we're left with for season 14.
Yeah, they pretty much said it was rushed.
Yeah, but like it's just I'm just waiting to see what their opinion of big changes are. Like you said, like is this gonna be it, or is it gonna be like a small, I wouldn't say band-aid fix, but like, you know, small changes here and there? Is that considered to them like a big change, or is it like a complete overhaul? I mean, can't say really.
Yeah, I mean,
They
it's
said
difficult.
huge changes, but
Yeah, they said, you know, there were changes that they wanted to make, and they don't want Feast to be in. I'm guessing that means, hey, we don't want PvP to be in the current state it is, balance-wise and everything else. We just don't have time to do it. Now, if we find out they didn't have time to increase potency on a few abilities, and that's what we get in the next change, I'll be pretty angry. But if it's like something different, like we have multiple maps for Feast, and they have maybe a different variation in the rules or something like that, okay, I can understand that. And I know, Mateo, you were saying on this that you were pretty irritated with that comment when they posted it up, right?
I was. Yeah, I kind of had a tweet, man.
Yeah, no, I heard it.
it's common that they delayed it.
Well,
changes or
here's the thing, right? It's my personal belief that if there was a little bit of communication, if Square Enix was like, hey, you know what? It's not ready yet. It's just not ready yet, fam. 5.2, it's gonna be ready. Everybody that wanted a season, they would have been like, cool. All right, cool. Make it good. You know what I mean? Make it good. Instead, I'm sorry to say, it might be controversial, but this is like a beta test, man.
Yeah, it is.
It
And
is.
I do 150% agree with you. And I've been saying this for years. Like the communication has to improve in terms of PvP, because PvE, I mean, obviously it's the center point of the game, gets a lot of communication, I suppose.
Well,
But
does it? Does PvE get a lot of communication?
more?
Okay.
More.
Sure.
I should fix that. Not a lot, but like more.
Okay.
That's like a question.
PvP gets fucking none.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they come out with stuff like this, like Mateo said, it's like, okay, cool, but like, okay, sure, it's delayed, but like, it would be nice to know a week, like more than a week beforehand, that okay, we're getting a basically 4.1 in terms of like PvP changes, and then we're gonna get the actual system.
Yeah. Well, I kind of agree that more communication obviously would be great for us, but I don't agree that we should have waited even longer for a season, because it was already 7 months. It's kind of crazy.
I'm kind of on Brian's side with this too. I mean, I don't care if I have some broken, horrible season that they. I mean, have we ever had a season that was like, wow, everything's really exactly how I wanted it?
That's true.
I would rather have a broken season where we're just going out there and doing something competitive with PvP, because that's what I want to do. I want to log in and I want to queue up and I want to watch Netflix between queues. I don't know. I want to go out there and kill other people with my character. And
7 months. Yes.
yeah, it's been 7 months before we had anything that was even remotely okay with PvP.
I'm going to be the devil's advocate to
Sure.
that, because like in these 7 months, how many custom tournaments we had? We had almost none. We could do something in this
In the
time.
community?
7 months is a lot. Yeah, why not?
Well, no
We
one
could
was.
do something. I mean, the time would pass easier.
You're right. We could have, as a community, gone out and done some events and stuff. But I would also say against that, no one was excited for it, because they're like, "How much time am I going to invest in PvP right now?" And invest like that was how I didn't play PvP at all when the expansion came out. I avoided it because I was like, "I'm waiting for the changes. I'm just going to wait for the changes because I don't want to put time into something and learn it and be have to
that's true.
completely change my world afterwards. And so I think a lot of the community was in the same boat.
The thing is, we didn't.
Yeah, go ahead.
I go.
Oh, no, you said it first.
Okay. The thing is, we didn't know when the season was going to happen or not. So like, we were always like at this waiting point. Is it going to happen in 5.1? Is it going to happen in 5.05? So like, there were people who was actually playing, doing training queue and scrims. I was playing like every week, just 7 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, were you adding something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I do agree with Gab. Like, the community could have done something, but then there's also the fact that when the president is said that there's a big expansion and there's going to be a sweeping changes across the board on the entire game, PvP gets nothing, and then it's like, well, basically nothing. The morale of the community is not going to be very high, so I don't blame anyone for like not wanting to do anything when A, what Brian said, nobody knows what the fuck is going on, and B, PvE gets all this amazing stuff, the best story we've ever got, etc. PvP gets nothing.
I mean, I'm gonna argue that we did get spoiled in the way of focus on 4.x.
In Stormblood?
Yeah, because in 4.x, as soon as it came out, we had a whole different system. All the abilities changed, and we had so much. The media event we had a central focus on PvP and the changes that we're making, and so we got kind of used to that. And when we came into this most recent expansion, Shadowbringers, and there was shit, we're pretty upset about it, right? And so I feel like we were kind of our expectations were a little high because of what they've done before. I don't think PvP needs to have a huge, giant focus. Like, that's what you think Final Fantasy 14, you think PvP. I don't think that's the case. I think when you think Final Fantasy 14, you think you can PvP and be happy. I do think that's true. But I do also think, though, it's such a far jump away from what they did before that it really pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah. So, I mean, it should be something in between, not like PvP should be the sense of focus, but like, now it's nothing. 4.0, we got huge changes. Now it's not nothing. So, yeah.
I do want to ask kind of another question with this. We do see them starting to ramp up. And again, they took a while to do it. One of the big first changes that they made is forced everybody to play this new Frontlines mode. And I played it a little bit. It's always really hard for me to get into anything Frontlines or More Than Feast. Like, I like feeling that I have an impact in the game in some regards, and it's hard to feel that when you start adding in lots and lots of players, especially up to 72 people and 3 different teams. I haven't won a single round that I played of that new map.
Keep going, bro. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I played like 10, 15 games, and I don't know how many I played, but I just lose every single one.
You won none?
None.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What?
It's a 1 in 3 chance every time that you play it that you're going to win, right? I mean, how much can you... Like, I tried to... Mateo played with me.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, and when I first tried it, I was like, I'm going to jump on... I don't know what to do. I'm going to jump on my whale and run around and make the other team follow me so they don't get the points.
No. Let me...
Okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you what he did. All right, let me tell you. All right. So, it was him and I think another person. I don't remember.
Air was with us, I think.
Air was with us, yeah. So what? This is what Frosty did, right? We pop in, and he asks the dumbest question every single time. He's like, "Hey, do you guys like? I don't know what you would ask. Hey, do you guys like Blue's Clues and like Alliance Chat? All right, anime? Anyway, do you guys like anime? Every single time in Alliance Chat, everybody like, who the like, anyway.
I get some serious responses, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
What?
Blue's Clues. It's
Blue's
like
Clues.
a children's program in the U.S.
Children's program, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, after that's all done, man, the gates drop. Dude, he's on his mount. He's going in. Like he's like straight line. You know what I mean? He goes to the enemy team. He dies maybe in about 10 seconds if he's lucky, right? He respawns. I'm going to fucking go again. This is Frosty. He does it again. Every single I was playing healer, right? I was like, yo, I'm gonna save you, bro. I carried like rescue and shit, pardon my French. But I was getting so frustrated, bro. Every single time. He's just going in. There's like 8 people on him. He's tanking him for a couple seconds. I rescue him. This dude literally pops bolt the moment I rescue him. Goes back in. Has no hologram. He's like, I did my job, yo.
I have like one question that's divided to 2 parts.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, if Frosty runs straight in, it took him 10 seconds to die.
If he's lucky.
How shitty was the other team?
Look, dude, you don't even understand how good Hollowed Ground and spamming
Oh,
Holy
you were
Circle
Paladin.
is.
Okay.
So
okay.
Hollowed Ground, and then I'd go in there and I'd spam Holy Circle, getting tons of HP back, constantly. And so basically, the entire team is attacking one central point and wasting all their resources to attack this one person, while my team hopefully does what they're supposed to do. That's what I was
I
imagining.
like Mateo's version.
Okay.
Mateo's
All right.
version.
So I was like, well, I'm going to play the distraction game because I could go into a battle and I could try to figure it out. It just felt, I don't know, it feels weird fighting in Frontlines, and it's always like, is my team bigger than their team? And that's all I think about. Like, can my group of people kill that group of people? Oh no. Well, is my group going to attack them, or half going to run away and half go in? I don't know. That's what Frontlines felt like to me. It's always a clusterfuck, and it's just difficult for me to...
Yeah, I don't like
too much
the
fun.
3 teams format at all. When did you play? Do you remember? Like
right after it came out, so it wasn't
yeah.
not after the changes with the new freelancer changes and everything else, but
yeah. So back then, majority of people were sticking to one grand company to like have a higher chance of winning. So that could explain why you were not winning.
Okay.
Like for example, if you look at the leaderboard earlier in those in that time, like it would be like 100 people on flames because everyone just went flames on Aether, for example, because that was they had more experience in PvP. So
yeah, I do want to again note this is when it first came out, so it's not like there was a plan or like anyone really had a really good idea about what to do. It was more of like, this is the basic concept and try to initiate it. So when we're going in there, it's not like, hey, we didn't study up. It's more like, I need to go out and experience it. I also think going into Frontlines is the best way to get into PvP, and you don't know what you're doing, because you can mess up there and it won't hurt people as much.
I agree with that.
So if you know nothing about PvP, go into Frontlines. That's where I would say go.
Thing is, the mistakes are not visible there, but at the same time, you cannot understand what you're doing there.
No.
What you're doing right at all.
It's true.
It's just clusterfuck.
My opinion.
I think it's only useful for getting used to the abilities.
Yeah.
I don't think it's used like none of the skills that you get in Frontlines or are useful in Frontlines like transfer over to Feast in any way. So
except for just being able to press buttons and just understand a little bit. I mean, that's what it is. Instead of doing that when you queue into Feast, at least do that in Frontlines, then queue into Feast, and then you have something, right? Instead of nothing at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yo, I think Brian can back me up on this, but I think EU and NA have a specific playstyle for Frontlines, whereas JP, it's just a completely different beast, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It's completely different. I want to say they're not as aggro. They're a lot more about teamwork, and the way they play is very, very, very coordinated. Like there's minimal kills kind of thing. It's
in JP Frontlines.
Yeah, JP Frontlines. It's always been like this.
Okay.
It's always been like this. There's a leader. Do you know what I mean? Yep. And everybody kind of follows that, and they're very, very like cautious. They don't like risk plays. They kind of just it's very, very, very different. Whereas honestly, like in NA, I'm not sure how it is in EU, but I'm just gonna speak for NA for a quick moment. It's almost like chicken with their heads cut off. Everyone's kind of like a specific way, you know. But JP is very like, okay, this is our alliance. We're all gonna stick together. If you overextend, you're a dummy kind of thing. That's your own fault kind of thing. It's really interesting.
They literally call them the general.
The general. Yes, thank you. I was gonna say commander, but you're absolutely. Yeah. It's really.
No, I follow you. Like what?
I mean, that
that's cool though.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool as fuck actually.
It's fun actually. Yeah.
But I mean, then you think about it, that actually relates a little bit to how a lot of JP matches in Feast went a while back when they would just wait till calling to do any burst, right? I remember seeing that is that they wouldn't really do any major offense until calling hit. I don't know if that's changed. I don't know what that looks like.
Not really.
No, it's still the same.
Really? Okay.
JP don't like risk. Like Brian, you play Final Fantasy 11, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same. If you think of like quote unquote like the merit parties for JP, they always had like 2 healers. You know what I mean? NA were always a lot more like more risk, man. Like more reward kind of thing. Always greedy. JP don't like risk.
Well,
like,
I mean,
this is calculated. This is how we play.
I mean, going back to this too, and talking about attitude between the different regions and everything, I think NA and EU don't give a shit if they look stupid and fuck up, and JP does, and so that
Let
affects
me
a lot
just
of
correct that.
Okay.
They don't even know they look stupid.
There we go.
Okay.
They think they the shit. But suddenly, like, you know, they just be running into the enemy base and die in 2 seconds, and then they're like, healer, you shit though.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
yeah.
keep me alive.
Right, you're right.
It translates into feast as well. Like the thing that you mentioned earlier in the talk, Thana, is like people that kind of like don't do their research into mode. It's not as prevalent in JP, man. JP,
True,
like, I'm not trying to be like JP lover or whatever. I'm just kind of stating fact. Honestly,
I feel the same way. Like I always call JP the promised land. I feel bad about saying that, but it's just how it is when it comes to PvP.
I like the aggression from the NA and EU side,
That's
to be
true.
honest with you. Like when we get into the higher level play and people kind of know what they're doing, at least people are pretty aggressive.
Then, yes.
Yeah. But when we're talking about like early low level stuff, it is rolling a dice. I mean, that's kind of what Feast is right now. And let's get into that in a second. I want to talk a little bit more about Frontlines and just kind of, because I don't play it actively. I just played it a little bit. And so I think Frontlines in general, this is the place that people go when they want to do PvP with less pressure of letting the entire team down, right?
Yeah.
Or they just like bigger
yes.
scale things, maybe. I mean, it's that you enjoy Frontlines because you're the type of person who enjoys Frontlines. And so there's a lot of people who are very into it and they want to make groups for it and they want to be kind of serious about it. Right now, you have a four-person group that would randomly queue up with another four-person group, right? It's not, you can't make
randoms.
groups. Yeah.
Format pre-made.
Yeah. And so that's not like, so right now you can't really even have organized Frontlines as much, right?
Yeah,
Not
you cannot.
really. You just have to have someone who will be willing to do call outs and shout.
And hope people read the chat.
And pray.
Yeah. So it's just a big mess, and that's what it feels like to me right now. But it's still at least something that people can go do, and it's better than where it has been going before. Like Brian, I'm partial to liking this mode over Rival Wings. I know that you like Rival Wings a lot more, or well, you at least had a big community behind it. So do you feel like this is the right change for the community right now, is to go into this kind of Frontlines versus Rival Wings?
No. So they took away the 8-man pre-mades and they took away the 72-man, the 24-man option, because Frontlines always had that mode where you could play with 24 people and the queue times were faster as well. But now, I don't know why they took away both of those options. I believe we should have at least one of them back.
I'm assuming they wanted to just funnel everybody into one mode with one set queue.
I don't know. It feels more like they're removing content by doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I don't know what the Frontlines queues looked like before. Were they pretty good with having the different modes?
It was the same, to be honest.
Yeah.
The queue times were the same when we had 24-man and 72-man. But when we had 24-man, when there were not enough people for 72-man, we had pops. Right now, there won't be any pops.
Correct, yeah.
Also, I don't understand why they removed it generally. Why not remove 72-man and put 24-man instead? It's so much more fun.
I agree.
It's much interactive. I don't know, really.
I think they should do that. I think that should be the mode, is 24-man. I don't think that, and maybe have smaller maps if you need to for it, but I think having these big grand ideas of giant battlegrounds just isn't logical with the population that we have for Feast right now. Or not Feast, PvP for Final Fantasy XIV in general. Yeah.
So I understand that they want it to be casual, like anyone can just hop in and win. So you'll have like a 30% win rate, but there should be an option that you can at least somewhat carry, and I think 8-man pre-mades would be that.
Yeah. I would think so. I think you can actually do some good carry moves in an 8-man. 8 versus 8, not 8 versus 8 versus 8 though. I would rather have an 8 versus 8. That was maybe the 3 teams. I don't know. It depends how they set it up, but I do have to agree with you guys. And I think, I hope Square Enix will see that at some point and reduce the population. I don't know. There has to be someone in the SE headquarters that's saying, we need big PvP. We need 3 teams. We need just crazy nonsense going on. I don't know who's voicing that, but please stop.
The thing is, I think the main reason they want 72-man more is because servers. They have to have less servers with higher matches, like high populated matches. So it's a gain for that part.
Yeah, you don't need to have like 20 instances of 24 people playing. It's like maybe 5 instances of 72 people playing. Yeah. So yeah.
That's what I think the reasoning behind it.
That's frustrating too, because we can't even really do the old maps right now. It would have to be community ran. Like we can queue for them, but no one's gonna queue for random shatter right now.
Sure. Why would you queue for shatter?
If you need the reward.
I guess
yeah, the mount.
So JP players have been actually doing that. Community run, shatter nights and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with Rival Wings. They do Rival Wings already. We're trying to do it today on Aether.
So there you go. There's an advertisement for everyone watching the do Rival
What
Wings.
time?
8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Shit, we got to end the show by then. Anyways, I wanted to also, I think, we don't have to talk too much about Frontlines, but I think right now, at least, there's some more changes they could make to make PvP overall better for the game, instead of, like you said, leaving it to 72-man right now. Because they had the right direction doing 2 versus 2 and, what was it, 48-man for, yeah. And so they were going in the right direction, but then they just went back.
You know what it feels like, man?
What?
Let me try to formulate my thoughts here for a second.
Okay.
So when it comes to Frontlines and when it comes to PvP, I feel like Square Enix is being quote unquote adaptive. In a sense, okay, we have a new expansion. We announced a new Frontlines mode, similar to Seal Rock. So that right there, that sentence, our what now? So it's a Frontlines mode similar to Seal Rock. That is gonna resonate.
Yeah.
With
the community.
Veteran players, with the community. Exactly. It's going to resonate. So it's going to be, so what I think they tried to do, honestly, is put all of this attention onto this Frontlines mode, and they wanted to give it time, and they wanted to give it exposure, and they did not want to keep these stomps that happen. Like, I'm sorry, but like, we all know this happens. Like if it's a 24-man and you have an 8-man pre-made, like it's not going to fly. Like somebody's not going to have fun. Right. So I feel like their entire point, like I said, they're adaptive, is inclusion. They wanted everybody to be included in a new expansion, right? Like in this new, like, wow, this is cool. So I think they just didn't want anybody to be left out. So I think if they do bring back 24-mans and 8-man pre-mates, it's not going to be just yet. They're going to let this be worth the development time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So maybe like a couple months down the road, or maybe towards the end of the expansion kind of thing. So I think that's kind of what they were going as. They try to make it inclusive in a sense that they didn't want anyone to be like, wow, I just got stumped. This sucks. I'm never going to play it again. But they actually created another issue, which I'm sure everybody's aware of. Brian mentioned is the GC sync. I'll be honest, I'm done with Frontlines. Like I don't want to go back into it.
Oh, it's fixed now with the Force Freelancer.
It is, yeah. But for me personally, like it's gonna take a little bit more time to kind of like ease back into it. But they solved an issue and they created an issue, which was a little bit not enough foresight in my opinion. Because like it's an MMO, right? Like you want to play with their friends.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
No, I gotcha. I will say I do think the GCs need to be removed, and that was the right direction. But they should let people to group together. For a team.
Yeah.
And if you do it on a smaller scale, it's a little bit better. I mean, there's always going to be new issues and everything else, but one just really like snooty thing, man, could they make that map more interesting? Like, I don't know what it is, but
on so?
Yeah, Frontlines does not. The new map looks like I just went back to a very plain, boring area. It doesn't look exciting. There's nothing going on in that map. Would you guys agree, or am I wrong?
I haven't seen it like live because I'll be honest and I'll confess I haven't played Frontlines.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. But if you're saying that and you're of that opinion, and then you look at everything that happened in the story and the PvE and the new areas that are so gorgeous, and then you look at PvP, it looks like dog shit. That's nice.
It doesn't look bad. It just looks like nothing. It looks like, like I don't see it, and I don't see anything that's like really appealing. It just looks like I went back to it's the same zone basically in Stormblood that had the different tribes of the
auras.
Yeah, auras, and that's it. And that was a very open plain. Yeah, basically it's like that. And I feel like they wanted to go back to the idea of like, you know, that whole battle you had in Stormblood with them in the storyline and different factions fighting each other, and they wanted to bring that in. But man, they turn it purple or something. I don't know. I'm tired of plains and green.
Turn it purple.
I don't care.
I guess that's kind of just opinion, but I think it looks like there's some bridges and
It's all
water.
right, dude.
And
You
hills.
don't got taste. It's fine, Brian.
And I'll side with Brian on this one, dude.
It's pretty.
To go out on a limb, I think it's probably the best thing they could have done in terms of bringing hype to the PvP because it has lore potential as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And a lot of the people that play this game
Don't bring
actually-
lore.
No,
Don't
no,
bring it
seriously,
into
yeah,
PvP,
it's
man.
literally that.
That's what gets PvE
But
years to PvP.
Yes, it literally does. Don't at me.
Hey, all right.
You're right about the lore thing, but like they didn't do anything with the aura tribes like I
Right.
thought they might have done.
Yeah.
No.
So
All right.
basically, what I'm getting from this is that everyone else agrees with Brian and Frosty. You're alone at this, so basically, you're blind. And
I guess so. I have no fashion sense. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys.
because I was solely basing on my what I said on you, but like other people like it, so you're wrong.
I want to fall asleep when I look at it, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I don't feel like I'm
Okay.
in a battle.
No,
I feel
fair
like
enough.
I understand what you mean. It's just grass.
I think out of all the front lines, even visually looking at it, it's better than all.
They could have
In
like
my
put,
opinion.
man, when I played PvP in WoW, all right, so you would go into a battleground and they would be dynamically different, right? You would go in there and there's lightning and towers and crazy stuff like the 4 castles. I forget what it was called.
The cults. The
What
cults, how it's called.
is it? Came out in like
The one in snow, right? On Wrath of
it's
the
up.
Lich King.
Burning Crusade.
What?
Burning Crusade is
No,
one.
but that was
Burning
Burning
Crusade.
Crusade.
Yeah.
The purple
Yeah.
fucking map. Yeah.
Oh, the yeah.
Yeah.
Understand.
But
can't
anyways, we can
remember
get
the
off Frontlines. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit.
Before we do, man, what's the best looking Frontlines map then? Frosty.
Shit.
Putting my man on the spot.
Silver Rock was kind of boring looking. This one's kind of boring looking.
All
Shatter
of them
looked a
are.
little bit better, although I didn't like the play mode as
No,
much.
no.
And then,
no.
and then like Rival Wings actually, you know, it had a lot of stuff to it. So I mean, it was interesting. It felt like there's stuff that popped. You had water, you had a train going through it, you have like these 2 big castles. I don't know. Look, just because I don't like something doesn't mean that you guys should all not like it too. You can all disagree with me. It's okay. It's all right.
I think it's just dynamic environment, right? Like if you look at, like you said, Rival Wings. I think Rival Wings was really like it had a lot of personality.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think-
exactly.
I
It
think
felt like it had
honestly, Rival
personality.
Wings,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the best looking map, like
Mhm.
thematically and
Did
aesthetically.
a good job, especially the new one with the train. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Anyways, let's go back to Feast here, because I mean, eventually this is, again, I don't do as much Frontlines because I don't feel like I matter in the match. I don't feel like anything I do, if I go out, I mean, I'm sure it does in some way, but it's harder to feel that than it is with Feast. I get in a Feast match, I can completely make our team lose or win, depending on how I play. That's not always the case, but you do have that effect there. And so right now they've done some things to change that mode that people have been asking for quite a while. So I want to go over a few of those. One is they removed vulnerability from metals stacking. Was this a good decision? Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, I can't say for the overall balance perspective because I haven't concluded my full opinion yet because I haven't played that much yet.
Mhm.
And it's only solo queue, and I haven't played any custom
Team.
matches.
Yeah.
But I just personally, whenever it comes to any game, it's like these game mechanics that determine or increased damage taken or whatever. Like when the game determines for you who dies or whatever, it doesn't really determine it, but it definitely affects it. I'm not really for. I'd always want player skill to matter the most and be the only determining factor, to be fair.
Okay.
So, I mean, people still die just as easy as before, I feel like. So that's not the case, but it's due to different factors. But I am at this current point in time, I am very happy with the fact that they removed
I mean, people have been
heavy
asking
metals
us
and
for
especially
entire
light
season.
metals.
Especially light metals, yeah.
Well, right now we absolutely could not deal with heavy metals. It'll be too much damage.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
tanks already dying
Yeah,
to
tanks already
to
dying.
nothing.
So we couldn't have it right now.
I love that meta right now, and I'll talk more about that too later. But where you go after the tanks and try to kill them, because they're so easy to kill. But with the metals in the question here, there's a new way to handle metals now because of all this, right? You guys you're giving metals over to ranged first.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it always depends on who's in the wheel, because you can't. I'm just be honest. You can't trust some people.
So you give medals to the player that you think can survive the most, almost no matter what the role is, right?
Yes.
Yes, but like if there's a good player on a role that's like slippery as hell, then
Okay, yeah, like a tank.
But yeah, it depends on job too. Like Dancer is the obviously most survival based range, so they can pick it over like a black mage who probably would struggle picking up. They'll get tunneled too hard.
yeah, especially because then they become the kill target, and then they'd be useless because they'd be tunneled. So, yeah.
So it's a lot more complicated than it was before, I guess, in that regard, because you have to base it off of the job almost instead of the role.
Every match I've seen people doing different things.
I've seen people just walk over because they don't care and they don't think about it. That's what I've been seeing. So
and everything.
I don't think it's been solidified yet.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. I think the community is actually really creative though, like 100%. Like I think back of different metal orders in the past and stuff like that. Now, I think probably you can't go wrong if you give a monk medals.
Yeah, I was about to say that actually.
Yeah, 100%. Like honestly, if they have a dance partner,
They'll never die. They are a tank.
they're smart. Yeah, if they're smart. Creative as in like, okay, you know what's on your team? Do you have a paladin? Do you have a frosty on your team? Do you have a dancer? Do you have a samurai? You know what I mean? Things like that. Like you have to be creative in terms of like what the job is and who the player is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Brian can definitely back me up here. Like in JP, they're very, very like I played a couple matches and they would like mark people beforehand. This is the metal order, you know.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. But I'm sorry to say, but the fact that we have to do that is maybe, I don't know if that's an issue or if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know.
Not an issue at all. I think it's good to have to debate who should have picked up medals and not have a solid plan. That's always good. I like it.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna say this though. Imagine having a tank who just thinks he's a tank and gonna survive everything. Just grab the medals before you can do anything about that. That's not balanced.
I would say,
especially when they're a gunbreaker.
Imagine, yeah, he will just die in the end, and you will lose 100 medals or something.
I do think overall the general strategy in my head is that everyone should try to balance out medals as much as possible between all the different players on a team. So if one person dies, it's not as huge of an effect to everything else. Because a tank getting 200 medals right now is pretty stupid.
Yeah, that's very.
Yes.
No.
Because you get 2 kills, you die, and then you give them the exact same points back from 1 death, and it just doesn't make any sense.
There's no windows of burst really. Like before in 4.x, you could get away with it because there's windows of burst. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I have defensive tools to counter this offensive window, whereas now it's just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're gonna die. Like you're
it's pressure.
Yeah.
Just pressure. Well, that's what I said at the beginning, I think.
100%.
Yeah. And so, I mean, going into that a little bit more, pressure with is kind of the mode right now, but you don't want to just do AoE pressure, right? That's the one thing. I was kind of confused about that at first when they made all these new abilities that did all this AoE stuff. You can do AoE, but I feel like that still doesn't really... maybe it does get you to kills. What do you guys think? Should people go out there and just do as much AoE as possible, or should it be a burst target constantly over and over again?
I think AoE is lacking, in my honest opinion.
Okay.
If you are not playing Dragoon...
What did you say?
AoE is lacking.
Okay, yeah.
If you're not playing Dragoon, who has Nastron, I think AoE is pretty bad. And like it's even hard to pull the AoE off, since most of the time, hardly you will find people stacking together. Like 2 is max always.
But
melee in the tank.
I feel like, when you get the opportunity and you see it, you should obviously take it, because from a healer's perspective, when you time it right and when the AoE damage comes at a point where really need to focus on one person, it becomes really hard for me to like prioritize who I'm going to keep alive. So from a healer's perspective, a well-timed AoE, for example, me as an Astro, when I can do an instant
Integrity?
no, instant gravity. It's
Oh.
or when White does it to me, it is kill that man. Anyway, it's well timed. It's very useful, but definitely don't go there and just spam AoE. Like that's not the way to go.
Very situational. If you can hit like 4 people, and go ahead.
It's really hard.
But that doesn't really happen, and especially against higher tier matches.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been trying a couple of different things, going through, and I was like, all right, because sometimes you're in a match and you just can't win because your melee no one does a countdown. Sorry, not your melee. No one does any countdowns, and you have to be the person who does it. Then they don't follow the countdowns, and they're all attacking, doing their own thing. So I'm like, all right, this is a good time to experiment, and, I'll try to do AoE damage, and I can get up to like 260,000 damage on a paladin just doing AoE damage overall, but that means not a huge amount.
Nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything if you're not focusing that damage down to one person, because I think the AoE healing that you can do kind of
is stronger. Yes.
Yeah, it does more than that single target.
It's
just
MP, so it drains you if you're doing that.
Just white maids, the AoE with the regen. I don't remember how it's called. With the one lily, should be enough to cover most of the time.
Rapture.
If there are rapture, yeah.
That's true.
A good example of why AoE is lacking, in my opinion.
I guess in Astro though, you're only really like me personally. I don't know what it does, but me personally, I don't really see the use of using that much MP for a Helios unless it's used under neutral sect.
Yes, neutral sect is actually pretty strong.
I don't use it otherwise really.
In terms of AoE, for some melees, for example, like I can speak about all of them, but in terms of monk, you actually build faster if you use your AoE combo. So you can actually get your burst in 4 GCDs in a wind tackle, which is actually kind of insane if you think about it. So most of the time, if you're on monk, you're kind of like spamming this. You're doing like the Lucio or whatever, or what's his name? You're doing the Eddie from Tekken.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, now I got you.
You know what I mean, right? Yeah.
Good reference, by the way.
Capoeira. Yeah, you're kind of chilling there. And, but for other jobs, it's kind of, I think potency wise, I haven't really mapped out all of them, but I think 2+ targets, 3+ targets, it is more worthwhile.
The same. I think it's the same.
Is it? Okay.
Well, for a paladin, it's a little bit more. I mean, the benefit you also get is more if you do it. Like you get more MP from slashing, doing a gory slash on 2 people than you would from whatever the one is for atonement for 1. And same thing for if you want to heal up. If you hit 2 people of a holy circle, it's more valuable than doing a spirit.
Do you want to give it like? Go ahead, man.
I think majority of the jobs is like you have to hit 3 to make it worth it, except for monk, which I think is broken, by the way, that you can build faster with the AoE combo. So I don't think that's intentional.
I don't think so either. But the thing is, I think right now it's like if you wanted to put a ratio on it, pressure versus burst, honestly, you'd probably put like pressure at like 70%, burst at like 30%. Okay. That's kind of what it feels like. It's a top of my head kind of thing, but really, whereas before, you had like pressure and burst. Maybe it was equal. It was like 50-50, 40-60. I'm not sure, but there's a lot more emphasis on pressure. Is what my point is.
I mean, I go ahead.
Not intended plus. I don't remember what Mateo just said. What Mateo just said and what Brian just said reminded me of what's not intended. What the fuck is with neutral sect interrupting your casts? When
I heard about that.
Oh yeah. You have to.
I don't play as know that.
You have to keep track, like see when the timer's gonna run, and make sure you don't cast during that time.
Yeah, like who? I don't understand how it got past the quality check, but like who in their right mind is like, this is the healer's most important healing cooldown, and when it ends, it will f them in the ass.
I don't think anyone's
thought of that.
I don't think anyone's ever complained about that on forums and stuff. So
can you guys explain what the actual issue is? Like,
when you pop neutral sect, you get like your abilities basically change. Like 2 of them change, and then they do different things. They give a shield in a region, and when it ends, if you're mid cast, your cast will be interrupted because the ability basically doesn't exist anymore.
Oh no.
So if you
Sucks.
use it for a burst, which you would usually use it for, and if the damage just doesn't stop and you need to heal something and you get interrupted, someone will just die.
Are you a global behind as well? If that
Yes.
happens? Oh no.
Yes.
It's fucking insane to me how that got past the color
Yeah.
check. But like enough rant.
Yeah, no. And again, we're talking about something that Square Enix has already said that they want to change and make major changes to. So, but that being said, I was just kind of curious about the AOE question, just mostly because that is one of the biggest changes is that everybody could AOE. I mean, they did that for a lot of different areas of this expansion, but in PvE or PvP, they did that as well. They wanted to make sure everybody had some sort of AOE, and it seemed like that's more of a Frontlines change than a Feast change.
A
Right?
bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I still do it. It depends on the situation, and I have to kind of count numbers. I'm like, is this guy going to walk into my AoE if I press it at this time? And I have to kind of like predict a little bit, but it depends. And I do want to talk about what we were saying earlier because it's definitely on my mind. You guys are thinking right now, I've heard people say tanks are horrible. They're the worst thing, the worst position they've ever been in the game right now. Would you guys agree with that?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I haven't played it from like a playing perspective.
Right.
I don't know, but from a healing perspective, it is sometimes pretty annoying to keep them alive. Like compared to like what Gab and everyone has agreed, Monk, for example, they just don't die. But tanks are just like, hi, I'm Paper, I'm down. So I don't know from playing perspective, is it like fun to play them? I can't say.
I enjoy playing like right now. I
The
didn't
survival
think I would.
aspect is, I don't know.
So right now, if you guys go to a match, you think I see a tank, he's going to be an easy target, just like the melee is going to be a target, right? And so it's like I can attack the tank or the melee. They're going to be up in my grill, and so I can go and attack them. And range is a little bit different because they're far off. Healers are a little bit far off. You have to kind of chase them a little bit. And so the meta has kind of come into always try to kill the tanks in melee as much as possible, right? Or am I wrong with that?
Well, I don't think the melee is a viable target.
Really?
Like have a samurai and a monk. They are so hard to kill. They have like samurai have Chiiten. That's how I call it. 50% reduced damage for five hits. Insane. Also, they have the dust, which makes them harder to kill. Also, they have arm's length. Now, from the monk's perspective, they have Feast of Stone every 30 seconds. And the arm's length, so again, make them really hard to kill. I think they're not viable. I would just bet on making a countdown if range is out of position and hard swap.
Okay.
If the tank is good. Only that. Otherwise it's just tank.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, so for tanks, basically, most people are running Rampart. As soon as you run out of resources, whether it be for Paladin, Rampart, Hollowed, then you can just be pressure killed. But the way to play as tank is basically don't take risks. Like after you use your cooldowns, like prepare to use walls and don't take deep calls. But is that a good design? I don't know.
It's weird. No one's apparently happy because they're used to being beefy and collecting medals and you know having tons of things to stay alive, and so it's different.
It's like it's to be from like MMO design from PvE wise and like sort of I guess lore wise, I don't know. It's funny to me for the most tankiest person in the team, supposed to be the tankiest person in the team, when they use their cooldowns, they're gonna be hiding behind their melee like a bitch, like save me, dude. Like what is that?
That's true.
Yes.
That's kind of
It's a bit
interesting.
silly.
Comparatively, if you look at, I'm not going to talk about 3.x. In terms of 4.x, comparatively, tank calls were made by very, very experienced melees and adventurous teams. Like if you call on a tank, people are like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you calling on a tank? Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you have like someone like Gab, do you know what I mean, that makes a call on a tank in 4.x, you know that he's like, okay, what is this guy doing that I don't know, you know, what he's doing? But now that mystery that mystery's gone. That mystery, that allure is gone. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Okay. So
No,
you're
I
not
mean it.
impressed when people do it. You're like, oh, this guy.
I'm not
maybe.
impressed.
Yeah.
No, I'm not impressed because you know what it is. You know what it is. Getting 10 kills in 4.x was like an achievement.
Okay.
If you think of it that way, it was an achievement to kill. Like you're a paladin, Frosty. I don't remember how much you played in 4.x.
I died a lot in 4.x because of cover.
Cover.
But yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
before they went, full retard. Anyway.
Oh my god. All right, keep going.
Sorry, I'm joking. But that's the thing. It was an achievement to actually kill a tank. Do you know what I mean? Somebody like that's aware, that has all these tools. It was an actual achievement to kill a tank.
Right.
You don't make calls on a tank, you're wasting your damn burst. 400 medals or not, man. Like if that tank is smart, he will not die. You look at Brian, he will not die. He's smart, you know what I mean? But now, no matter how smart that tank is, like what he's gonna be doing is exactly as Thana said. Yo, does that riddle of birth cover me too, bro? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It doesn't, like it's not like one of the players actually spoke to me. He's like, yo, what I do on tank is I unmend until whatever's ready, pop in a second stun, leave, go back to unmending.
Yep. That's exactly what I meant.
This is
by
awful.
using
Yeah,
walls.
so you're ranged.
Using walls until
Yeah.
you have something ready again.
Not
And
me.
it's also confusing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
But it's also confusing to newer players who, when I said at the beginning of the show, newer players don't do a lot of research. Obviously, if you're coming from PvE, you're going to be like, I'm the dude who takes all the damage. So I'm going to be at the front lines. But what you're doing is you don't understand that you're hurting your team way more than you're helping them. And that isn't relayed in any way because you don't know how squishy you are. And you're going to be blaming your healer for like the next 2 months until someone tells you, yo, you're squishy as fuck. Stop.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna let you guys know. I am probably one of those people who pisses off my healer because I do play in the front a lot. But I feel like right now it's really interesting to me because as a tank, you're used to taking damage, right? You're used to people trying to attack you. Right now, people are attacking me because they want to kill me, and I don't have to do anything but exist. And so I kind of like that because it becomes this whole challenge of like, hey, I am absorbing as much of the damage and trying to stay alive and keep you in the focus the entire game. I'm tanking their burst as much as I can. So for me, it's go ahead, Thana.
I'm not finished.
No,
Not finished.
so to me, it feels like I'm actually playing a tank in that regard because I'm absorbing all the aggro and all the enmity from the other team, and a lot of times I stay alive because I'm like, all right, what do I have in this situation to stay alive when I'm in there? What can I do? Do I stun the melee because they're about to burst and run away? I have sprint. I can just do my distance really quick. I have Deseto up. I can go ahead and put a shield up. It doesn't matter who they're going to burst. They're going to have a shield on them. Or, do I have safeguard ready? Can I stay alive here? Do I have potions up? And then I play it by what resources do I have to keep myself alive. And if I don't have anything, then I play a little bit safer. But most of the time, I have something to stay alive before I run away.
Okay, that explanation cleared up a lot of things, and
Sure, go ahead.
Because obviously, I was going to rip into the fact that you're at the front all the time, but then he clarified that
most of the time,
Paladin.
Yeah, I make sure like playing Paladin.
Yeah, and as a Paladin, to be fair, yes.
I feel like it has that role right now, and I think a lot of people. I don't know. Do you guys? Right now, is the general consensus Dark Knight's the best thing? You don't need to play the other tanks, or do people think there is some value in other tanks?
Paladin.
Do you think Paladin's good? Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, man.
They're all it's pretty close, but Dark Knight is the best. I've been playing Warrior, having a decent time.
Warrior is decent too, yeah.
A lot of people said Warrior sucks. So
Yeah, I literally every day I'm responding like Warrior is not throwing.
No.
Thana, is Warrior throwing? You have to heal them.
I've only healed one person who's played Warrior, and I haven't gotten them a lot, so I don't know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But this is also because I only recently reached plat because I haven't been playing that much. I mean, I've done like 120-ish games maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, like out of those, Warrior definitely to me doesn't stand out as being bad or squishy or whatever. But again, I haven't played with a lot of Warriors, so I can't say.
So the weak
Brian,
part, I'll say the weak part of Warrior is basically Nascent Flash is not as good as TBN and anything Paladin offers defensively, but like yeah. But survival wise, their self survival is just as good as, if not better than Dark Knight. So
okay,
and they bring
That's why
damage in the burst.
That's why I believe it's decent.
Yeah,
because of survival.
Intervention kind of sucks, to be honest with you. You have to. It's like being a mini white mage. And you just like try to predict the burst is going to happen, but you have a 6-second window to cover. Right? You don't have 10 seconds of protect. You have a 20% reduction of damage for 6 seconds, and so you have to be kind of ahead of the game with it. It's weird. I'm not completely happy with it, but I feel like I make it work because I just enjoy doing it. I also, as Paladin, I like when people burst me and I have Wreck up. I use Wreck and I'm running with Sprint and shooting Holy Spirits out and still being part of the burst while they're chasing me across the board. And I feel like that's pretty strong for Paladin. I don't know how much the tanks can really do that too, how good their range of burst is. I mean, killer tanks burst.
I mean, it's their best burst since everyone just agreed that tanks are basically ranged.
Yes, running and kiting and doing damage. Yeah,
kinda. Yeah.
Interesting, man. Like when so before I kind of like say what I want to say is
Sure.
Frosty and I had a match, couple games. He's on Paladin. He asked me in our FC chat. He's like, "Yo, don't be shy to give me any criticism or any advice." It's like, "How did I do?" I was like, "You didn't die. you did good." I was 100% honest. Like that's the thing, dude. Like if you don't die as a tank, you're amazing. However, when it comes to tanks, I think they're very, very similar in their kits. They're quote unquote homogenized. However, the way you play them is extremely different. Like take, for example, Warrior. I've been playing Warrior on like JP a little bit. And the way to play that class, man, is you just go through. You just go through everything. The fact that you have, like a Volnup, you can't be shy. You gotta like use the walls like Brian said, kind of thing. You gotta you have a little bit of an escape tool with home gang and stuff like that. But really, you gotta just go through and you gotta trust your offense, as is usual with Warrior, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta take those personalities and you gotta like you can't play them all the same. Like Dark Knights, I said at the beginning of the season, everything like that, I was like, Dark Knight's just gonna die. Oh, Dark Knight's so good, blah blah blah. Yes, TBN is amazing, dude. It's amazing, but the amount of error involved in actually applying TBN to the right target is huge.
Yeah.
If you miss a TBN, you're useless.
I mean,
you're actually useless. Well, sure, that healing down thing is really cool if people know how to stick on that target. Do you know what I mean? But most of the time, what I see New Dark Knights doing is they'll blow their MP immediately, and then after that, they're kind of just like sitting there. You know what I mean? They're taken down and they're dead, kind of thing. So really, sure, it's a really safe pick if you go Dark Knight, but please take Rampart. just do it.
Whoever as a tank doesn't take Rampart is trolling.
Dude, and
I didn't take it for a while, man. I'm gonna be honest.
When I see a tank,
You're trolling. You're trolling.
You're throwing. When I see, I don't care who you are, man. Like
Okay.
if I see a tank that does not have Rampart on it, I'm licking my lips, dude. you're dead. Like you're gonna die like 4 times. Like
Yeah.
I think I killed a tank like 5 times that had no.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Just not having it, you're forcing the healers to use too much stuff on you, anyways.
Well, with
so.
how the meta is right now, with attacking tanks, it makes complete sense. So yeah, now as I start to get used to the meta and everything else, I understand Rampart is definitely something tanks should have. Before I was running, what's the retaliation?
Reprisal?
Retaliation and the knockback one.
Full swing.
Full swing.
My god.
That's what I was running, and I would.
You're trolling. You're trolling, bro.
But it was so good.
It took full swing.
Because I ran in and I would hold ground when they started to attack me and throw up retaliation. And at lower tiers, people don't know what abilities are and they just attack you anyways. Yeah. So
I mean, everything works there, bro.
Okay, if it wasn't unranked, anything goes.
Yeah.
I would take backstep and I would win.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Why does that exist still, anyways?
It's awful. Holy.
Here's the thing, man. If you want to like SSX tricky your additionals and everything like that, like if you don't want to take Rampart, if you want to take, I don't know, whatever. If you want to take the push and the pull, you got to play differently. You have effectively created yourself to be like a range CPS that only comes out to like boot kick people with your full swing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not about like popping Rampart before a burst happens. It's not even that anymore. It's like just popping it to relieve the pressure that's coming onto you. You're not gonna.
They look at Rampart and they stop attacking you.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I will do that. I've canceled countdowns when I see Rampart. Okay, he popped it. Now it's free. It's the same thing with Safeguard. Like people that were twitchy with Safeguard before are twitchy with Rampart now. That has not changed and that will not change.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's a commonality that will not change. However, but if you don't take it and you're sitting on the front line, there's so much that can happen. Like yeah, sure. If you get stunned, you know what I mean, and you don't have Rampart up, that happens. Like it's gonna happen. But if you don't take it and you pop it like proactively kind of thing, it's much better.
No, I agree. And you have to be proactive about almost every single thing that you do in Feast. I think right now my definite choice for tanks is Rampart and Weapon Throw, because I feel like those two do the most for you. Because Weapon Throw allows you to help with burst or help pull pressure off or various other things. The knockback sucks because it's almost impossible to control. And that's only good for pushing people away. It's not good for, killing people. Not as much, at least. It even pisses off people who are doing burst when they get knocked back. But I don't feel like retaliation, smart players won't attack into it. And so it's almost useless. I mean, it is like having our safeguard. I guess retaliation and having safeguard, sort of. But then again, if you just have retaliation up, they might attack you anyways. I don't know.
Depends on the tank.
I think retaliation... Retaliation, I think, is decent because you can actually make a counter burst call. Exactly. If they're bursting you and you're like, I'm gonna survive this, you can just burst with them. But
you have to be able to survive it, right?
I know. If you trust yourself.
And right now they're squishy. We just went out, take some squishy, so they just
I mean, at this point, I even burst at some points in Rampart in like 4 spots, and then I kill them anyway. It's kind of strange why they're so weak right now.
But
makes sense maybe.
What was the other one? There was one other one that tanks have. It's okay. Sorry, Rampart.
Reprisal.
Reprisal. That
Reprisal
seems
is
like
good.
It would be good, but for some reason it doesn't. I don't know.
I never played with it, so I don't know specifically.
It's not that bad.
I favored it actually. Like I haven't played tank in a while, but I favored it if you can hit quite a few people with it. It does relieve like a little pressure. Yeah. It's a jolt for burst. Like let's just get that out of the way. It's probably a jolt for burst. That 10% is not going to do anything because you can still burst and protect.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Pressure.
So for pressure, if you just kind of pop that, you know what I mean, or if you pop it like dynamically before like a box or something like that, you might actually secure it. You know what I mean? Things like that, like you can use it. In my opinion, like Rampart plus pretty much any of the other ones is probably okay. Do you know what I mean? Like the S tier strat is taking Weapon Throw and interrupting LB.
Okay.
S tier strat.
The only exception is Warrior because Retaliation and Nascent Flash stack together. Like, so if they're hitting you, you're actually healing if you have those two together. And that's basically a defensive cooldown.
Okay. All right. So enough about tanks for a little bit. I know I kind of, I play tanks, and so I want to talk about it. But anyways, kind of going into the next situation here is where they changed we mentioned it a couple times. They changed it to where healers are not the hard. They still carry. I don't know. It feels like they still carry, but they're not a hard carry, right? They're not like 100 dependent usually on the healer. It can be just bad players who don't use potions now. They tried to deviate that a little bit. Do you think they did a good enough job? Does it feel like almost every person in the match matters?
People don't use their pots. It's really obvious.
So really, it comes down to pots.
So yeah, they did. So everyone's super responsible right now, and I think that's how it should be in a team game. Like everyone has responsibility, but in solo queue, it feels so awful because people don't pop the pots, and it's like literally nothing you can do sometimes to win.
Also, I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot. While saying at the beginning that I think it's a good thing, like Ryan just said, the pots are a good thing. More team responsibility is a good thing. I totally agree. But like I said, I don't think a lot of people really know even to use them or know that they exist. But also the fact that because you can't communicate to your team in any other way except pings, and SE is responsible as to what those pings are, they still haven't given us burst ready. So if you can't communicate to your team that, hey, I just used a pot, we don't even know if you have it. So me as a healer, I can't trust you if you have any pots. So I might be blowing like everything on you, and you might be using pots at the same time. Everything overlaps. So yeah, it's good to have team responsibility, but when you can't communicate to your team and your team doesn't see that you're like utilizing your team responsibility, it becomes like a double-edged sword, I suppose.
I completely understand what you're saying, because it's really difficult to know what your other teammates have and their abilities and everything, and you have to kind of watch it, right? You're like, okay, his health went up really quick, but I didn't heal him, so he must use his potions, and then you have to try to mentally keep track of all these different little things going on. I think after a while, you kind of get a sense for it, right? You kind of get a sense, well, they just used their potions recently, and so likely they won't have them, and I have to make sure to use some super cooldown to keep them alive. And that's really becomes the challenge of solo queue, is how to win without having good communication with your teammates, right?
Yeah, you could kind of guesstimate potions, especially if you're the DPS and you're like guesstimating how many potions does the enemy have. Like, you can try, but it's not gonna be perfect because the cooldown is so fast.
Yeah.
Also, in my opinion, doesn't have that much point. Since, as I said, I don't know what other melees do, but I just call a target, and I just call it every day, every fucking
5 seconds,
every 15 seconds. Just spam until he dies.
I hate that.
Except if it's a monk, it works. That's the sad part. It actually works. It's not coordinated at all. I just spam. I play samurai. I spam C10 and. They die at some point.
If your teammates following anything at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is if your teammates are listening to you. And so, absolutely, I feel like they've gone in the right direction. And I think they should keep, at least with the point of putting responsibility on other players in some regard. And I hope that it kind of stays in this way, because, God, it sucked. It sucked going into a match and having two people face off, and that was it. It was like, oh, well, so you have a healer and you have another healer. And that's literally it. You have these two healers facing off. It doesn't matter.
Well, I will
doesn't
disagree with that. I had impact in previous seasons. At least I feel I had impact in solo queue.
If the healers were close to each other, you did.
Yeah.
You can agree to that, right?
I mean, I won games against, like, for instance, against White when I had the worst killer.
He probably went AFK
I don't think
or
the
something.
difference. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
it's so
the
funny that you guys
difference isn't that awful as people think. In my honest opinion, the most balanced part was tanks. I sincerely believe that they were unkillable. If
in 4.x,
sorry.
Before,
Yes,
like in
tanks were
Stormblood.
unkillable. In Stormblood, yeah.
Yeah.
Tanks were unkillable.
Holy shit.
Like what is this? Tank stunts in 100 medals is 25% reduced damage. No point to focus them. They were if the tanks were good, they will never pop it off.
Yeah.
Or if they did, instantly once they understand you focus them, they pop it instantly. No punishment. No punishment at all. It's
the amount
so
of carry potential that tanks had, man, was actually unbelievable. And I'm sorry, Frosty, but Paladin was the most broken class. Like hallowed ground plus cover was the most annoying thing in the world. It was like the most broken thing I've ever seen.
You get that 2 or 3 times a match. 2 or 3 times.
Okay, sure, but like
you know,
it's solo queue for sure, but in the light party, and it didn't really end up that way because it's so obvious to communicate a swap and stuff.
Yeah, the communication is so much more fluent in the light party, but in solo queue, like, it was rough. It was rough to deal with. Like, it's not enough that you know how to deal with it; the entire team knows how to.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So
it's true. I do think they need a solution for cover, and I do think cover and clemency were, staples of Paladin, right? They were like, this is their identity and everything else, and they completely took that away, so I don't have that identity anymore. Now I cast shields on people like a sucker, or I do
Estudo.
protect. So I'm just like a healer in a way. I just have a couple of healing abilities that aren't healing anymore. I'm not supposed to keep my mana anymore either. Right? Because if you have mana as a paladin, you're doing something wrong. Before, you had mana, you're like, okay, I use my mana for a clemency every now and then. Now it's like you're losing DPS by not having
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it's your Recresock. You get more damage if you have no mana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Didn't
Your
know that.
rescue cat.
Yep.
Can I say something about what everyone said, that DPS and the DPS, not the tank, I won't say about the tanks, didn't have any responsibility in the 4.x. In my opinion, they had like good usage of safeguard and recuperate was, in my opinion, really impactful.
Hmm.
And I don't think like having 3 pods is really healthy, in my opinion. I would be more into having more strong defensive or something like that, and removing the bots. I don't know. Like at this point, if you don't stun the target, especially if it's a monk, it will never die. I don't think this is fine.
You think it was more dynamic?
Yeah,
But
I think it should be more dynamic.
Okay.
I think like safeguard was a really nice
Absolutely.
ability.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
But do you think anyone died in 4.0 either when you didn't stun them?
If you in LP at least, when we stun the target before they pop safeguard, we kill them on the CD.
Okay.
And that could
and
happen
that's not the
in
case
solo
in
queue.
LP anymore.
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't know. I haven't played much LP. Probably is the same case, but since the stun are so red right now, I don't think if you mess up, it's really gonna be awful.
One of my raid members asked me to describe the current iteration of Feast, and I said, "Hey, do you play Smash Brothers? Do you play Smash Bros?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, well, think about Smash Bros with items and take them to competitive." And that's literally what it feels like.
You think adrenaline rush, or is that what we're talking about?
We're talking about like items, right? Like potions and stuff like that.
Okay,
That's kind of what it.
Okay. I gotcha. I don't know. I'm content. Right now, I'm not. It can be better, but I think that Feast is in a good spot with how they balance things in a regard. They can move things in a little bit better of a direction, but I do think it's better in 4.x. I guess that's more of a big general thing while we're talking about healers. We were talking about healers for just a moment there. I guess we should keep talking about them because right now they aren't really the big carry anymore. They're more of I don't know. Do you feel, you guys, some of you play healer, when you go into a match as a healer, do you feel like, well, we're going to die because I can't keep people alive because they don't use their potions and everything else? Or do you feel like really good healers can still work around bad players?
That was my experience going from silver to plat, basically. That was 100% my experience. If people didn't use their pots, they were just dead.
Okay.
I feel like these days you kind of have, like, when you have good players, you can sort of burn your mana to trust your team that they will get a kill, and you can then start recuperating that mana because you don't have to spend as much mana when someone is dead. But with like people who don't know what they're doing, that part before someone on the opposing team dies, or someone on your team dies, is your life 100% of the time. Because nothing is just dying, or everyone's dying all the time, and you have to pump everything into them just to keep them alive. Yeah. And if they die, then everything is fucked. It's just like people, if they don't use pots or cooldowns or whatever, they're just dead.
So are healers in a good spot with this kind of balance right now? Or would you say that they're in a bad spot?
With good players, yes, I feel like it is. Or I feel like they are.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
I mean, it was that before as well, but you didn't run out of MP as fast, I suppose.
I don't exactly like how healers are at the moment. Like, if you think about it, white mates, for instance, if you don't have Tetra, the only thing you can do is just cure 2. And if you have repose, or if you have protect and know whatever you're running, then still you just cure 2. There's nothing else you can do. It's, I don't know, feels
bad,
not
man.
that, it feels bad, man. You feel awful if you play healer.
Okay.
And you know the worst part? If you play healer and your DPS aren't strong enough, like don't do enough pressure, the enemy team out pressures you and you use everything and they die anyway. Even if they use the pots, you will still lose. They will still die.
Okay.
Because the pressure is too much.
Yeah, the healing compared to the damage output is kind of wonky to me. Maybe I can't tell, but I'm inclined to agree with Gab that it is just like if at if Team A does more damage than Team B and they have sort of equal healers, Team A is going to win just because of MP, because you just can't keep people up indefinitely anymore.
Not even NP, they will just die at some point because of the damage. And you will have nothing to do. You cannot do anything.
Yeah. I will say that I have been going into a lot of matches with Coling recently, and I thought that wouldn't be the case because of people dying so easy, but people seem to be staying alive if you have semi-competent players. People just take a while to kill, right? Have you guys been seeing a lot of Coling in your matches?
I've seen.
Yeah.
Personally, I've seen a lot of Collings.
Okay.
Yeah, I think higher tier matches do get to calling quite a bit.
What's higher tier? Is that like gold and platinum? Is that really the higher tier?
We're getting diamonds now in like some servers.
Okay.
Like full plats. But yeah, if you play super safe with your defensive usage, it does get to calling generally.
Okay.
Since we're on the topic of healing, and Tachyon in the chat just said, like, do healers still need more mechanics micromanaging their MP, like with MP region abilities or region management? I think currently MP management is good without MP regions. You just really do have to know what you're doing and manage your casts. But it is pretty rough, but I don't think healers currently need MP regions in any form.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
To be blunt, when it comes to healers, I think it's still gonna happen. It was always an issue of skill discrepancy. There's usually so healers are your foundation, right? And then you have the tanks, and then you have your DPS. So if your foundation is solid, that's where your DPS come into play, and sure, your tank can do some good things. But if your healer and your tank are even, your DPS are the ones to shine. They will outperform the other ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had a lot of matches versus Gab where that was the case. You know what I mean? It was always like super close. You know what I mean? But the thing is, not enough people play healers, and the fact that it's such a stressful, like it's literally like the hardest, most stressful role in the feast. It's really hard to dispute that.
Yeah, you don't get any relief until the end of the game when it ends. Exactly. For example, melee, they get a kill and they're like, "Fuck you, bitch!
Yeah,
you're dead." Healers is like,
that's true.
Don't let your guard down.
The whole fucking game.
Exactly. So before, I think like healer discrepancy, that the curve of that was so much more. So now they kind of like neuterized it in a way that it's not as big. You know what I mean? But it's still there. So a good healer will probably outlast like a good healer. Before it was like 80 to 20%. Like if this healer's better and your healer's worse, you're gonna lose like probably 80% of the time. Now it's maybe like 60-40. I'm just throwing ratios out. But the thing is, I don't know if pots were the right choice, but it was a good idea to have everyone have a role in surviving. That is good. Yeah. That is good. But I don't.
I think in general, I think the biggest issue that it addresses is healers climbing the ladder way faster than everyone else. But for other things, like Gab mentioned about like 4.0 being better and Frosty as well, I think I
think right now 5.0 is better than 4.0.
Okay. But yeah, like that was definitely an issue in 4.0 and before. Like healers were definitely climbing way faster and carrying a lot of games, but now it doesn't seem to be an issue. But then there are other issues that it creates that healers don't carry games. But I think it's a healthier environment. I don't know yet, to be fair.
I think
like,
they're
for sure.
Right now, they're making, again, these were all based on things of comments from the community. So, I mean, there is something that we have to take from all this too, right? They are listening to us, and eventually they'll do something, right?
Yeah.
Eventually they make these changes, because a lot of these changes were things that we all asked for, and now we're experiencing them, seeing what flaws might actually happen because of them if we didn't anticipate a couple different situations. And I feel like that was good. I just wish this stuff, like right now, the season that's happening should have happened maybe a month after the first raid came out. I mean, that's what I think. I think it should have happened just a few months ago, like at least 5 months ago. And then everyone would be way happier, because right now we're learning PvP for the first time in Shadowbringers, and it's been how long since it came out?
Almost half the expansion.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not almost half, but like we're soon into 5.2.
Yeah, almost
and
into
we're just
5.2.
now.
Yeah.
So we're just like getting into it.
Yeah.
So maybe,
Mhm.
but I don't know what their reasons were for delaying it and everything. I don't think they fully explained it, right? So
I don't think they will.
I'd say, but me personally, yes, I would have obviously liked a season way earlier than this.
Yeah.
It's really odd because like 5.0, like if you did the training queues there, PvP was even different there too because we didn't even have potions, and it was just like similar to like 4.5 except for with new abilities.
Mm-hmm. All right. Going into this a little bit more, I don't know how much you guys can talk about DPS because I can't talk about it at all. I know Mateo could probably talk about it a little bit more.
Well, Gab is our DPS expert as well.
Yeah, Gab, I guess he's healer, dude. What are you talking about?
No, he's,
I'm healer. I'm healer.
What?
Man.
He's a healer now, man.
No. I'm joking.
What's your potency on those pots, man?
6K to be honest.
Hell yeah.
Boy.
Did you know that they actually snap like the pots when you use them? It doesn't matter if you have like if your HP is 12,000 and then it goes 6,000. You will heal like 2K if you go to 6,000.
Takes 0.75 milliseconds for the actual effect to like reach whatever your health bar is at.
So the trick if you're getting chased is you wait for the damage to come, then you pot, and like when you're casting Cure 2, use the pot exactly after and you heal 6K and 4K with Cure 2, instantly 10K.
Hot
Big
mess,
brain
really.
tricks.
Oh man. All right.
But real quick, before we kind of just get off of healers, I
Sure.
do think there is a struggle for healer mains right now. I really do. It's not the adjustment period is there
Mhm.
for sure. There's always gonna be an adjustment period, but I think a bit of their identity is kind of gone.
Gone. Yeah.
That's
what I said, to be honest. Like,
I mean,
when I
Go ahead.
go on.
No, I was just gonna say that's global, right? That's almost, it feels like a lot of identities have been completely removed in PvP right now. But
I mean, no, that's the tanks and the healers, to be honest.
you don't
That's
think the
identities.
melee and ranged? Okay.
No, I think the melee and the range are the strongest right now.
me too.
Identity wise.
And I believe that the tanks definitely need a change, as we said, and healers need legit 1 or 2 at least. I don't think it should be broken. Don't mind me, but I like casting Cure 2 every second, and people still dying, and you feel so fucking useless. Sorry about that again. Feeling so useless.
It's okay. You can
feels
curse on
bad.
this stream.
Yeah, I was just about to say I've been cursing the entire show, and Frosty hasn't said a thing. Like, am I okay? And Gabby's on like thin ice, or what's going on here?
No, we're good. But no, I didn't play a lot of the melee and ranged so far this season. I didn't play healer that much either. But with, I guess, and it's sad because I wanted to play Paladin, right? So I was like, I'm going to play Paladin when I have free time and level it up or rank it up and everything else. I don't have time to go to an alt, so I can't play any other job in solo queue right now. I can only play Paladin because if I switch to another one, I piss off my entire team. Because I've just rainbowed.
Unranked?
I'm not unranked. I'm at like 1400 or something like that. So if I change now, they'd be a little bit angry. I would say.
You said you can't play on an alt, you said?
Not really. I don't. So I have to get my alt, go over there, make sure it has the right job on it, and
I got you.
And so I'd rather queue with Paladin, get some points for that instead of go to an alt and try to learn another job. So it's kind of difficult right now for me to venture out too much. But that being said, melee, Gab, the thing that you were telling me is that you thought there's a opposing opinions on Dragoon right now, and you wanted to talk about Dragoon.
Dragoon. Well, I see some people like it, apparently. I see Chris play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My opinion on this, I don't like Mirage Dive. Legit, I refuse to play Dragoon.
Okay.
It feels awful, in my opinion. Clunky as fuck.
It's funny because Gab and I were Dragoon mains in 4.x, and it's completely different. I agree with him. It's actually kind of unfun. It's like the things that you can double weave are really like, okay, why am I double weaving this? I did like nothing.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
it's like using all GCDs every time instead
Yes.
of GCDs.
Mhm.
What's this?
Okay.
it's
okay.
it's very niche. It's very
Can I go into that a bit more? Like, explain like what is the main difference between the two
Go ahead,
iterations?
Do you want to answer, Mateo, or should I?
No, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
What's the difference between the two of them?
Oh.
Well, you remember how Dragoon works in 4.x?
Yes,
OP.
I got my butt anally
like
fucking.
OP.
I got
Wait,
mentally touched.
OP. Samurai was just fine.
It was.
No,
50%
it was bad.
reduced damage still?
Dragoon was
No,
brainless
come on.
easy. Back in 4.x, man.
Yeah, but you could definitely understand if a Dragoon is good and a medium
Yes.
Oh, for
is
sure,
between.
for
I
sure.
can feel it. Yeah.
Okay.
But
There
yeah,
was a
like-
skill cap. Anyway, the difference is like Spine Satter and Dive, the jump gave eyes. Now they do not. Only
Design. Yeah.
you need to use Mirage dives. You have 2 of them, and they have 15-second cooldown. So you have to use them, and then you get Hogul Nastron. But jump gives a stack of Mirage dive instead of giving the eye instantly. So that's a bad design in my opinion. First of all,
I agree.
I don't like Mirage dive at all. It should be removed.
I've never played Dragoon. Like, I've played like maybe 2 games, but I can already like I already like know that sounds clunky as fuck.
I mean, I've seen people like spamming Piercing Talon. That's actually a thing right now. You spam Piercing Talon from range. Like, what is this? Come on.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's kind of like the tank
it's
thing.
not it's not fun, bro. Come
Yeah.
on.
It's kind of like the tank thing where they have a similar kit. They're quote unquote homogenized, but they have to play different. With Dragoon, you have that luxury, right? Of just like, you know, just high five your range and like Piercing Talon kind of thing. Like, okay, we're having fun. yet?
Piercing Talon jump into you Gage Kogu and then Star Diver or something. And then Smite if it's low. Or
Okay,
Okay,
something.
so
Start on
basically what I'm getting, is if you have a Dark Knight, Dragoon, and a ranged DPS, everyone's just standing behind the healer. It's just like
Literally.
Yeah, that's literally it.
until you get a kill, and then you can go like disgusting and like push and snowball.
You know, it's funny. I adapted my melee strategy. Like I love having high APM and being. Gab and I play very similar. High APM and just like forcing different like windows to open. with
Cooldowns.
pressure and-
Yeah, man.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But now I've kind of adapted my strategy where I'm just like, okay, put the one on the target. You know what I mean? We're gonna chill until they come to us, dude. I don't even care if it comes to killing. You know what I mean? Like if it comes to culling, pardon me, not killing.
Yeah.
Killing,
bro, I
calling,
understand what
same
you said.
thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure enough. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I'm sitting back. Like if I'm a monk, especially, you come to me, dude. Like I don't have a retreat. I don't even care. Like I'll bolt in. I'll come back to my base. Like I'll hit you once. I'll come back. I'll hit you once. I'll come back. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, Dragoon. Before it was really good design. Like as Gab said, you know, you had like Chris, you had Gab, you had some really solid Dragoons. The difference between the good ones and you know the ones that just kind of like picked it up and they thought they were good. Sorry,
Me? Yeah, no, it's fine.
I remember when I tried to teach you Monk, but you're like, nah, it's F this. I'm going Dragoon.
Yeah, Monk sucked ass, dude. You know how much-
I still liked Monk, to be honest.
it was so difficult, man.
I still play it. Anyway, the thing is that the concept was that you could unga bunga. You could 1, 2, 3 in Dragoon. You could great pressure. You know what? As true as that was, yes, but it's where you put that pressure that mattered. That's what, you know, changed who was good or not. But now it's kind of like, I don't know. Like how many times are you going to press Piercing Talon? Like, it's weird. And then the Star Diver, holy shit, dude. I think it's longer than like an LB.
Yeah,
shot.
the animation is 3 seconds or something. Like that. It's awful. I don't know,
pretty dull.
really.
I mean,
You
I love
actually
that
have
anime.
to start
I
the
love
burst
that
with that. You have to start the burst with that. You cannot even finish with that.
Yeah, a few times, man, I found myself, I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm a Dragoon. I can dive and I can get out. I can dive. It's cool. You know what I mean? But what I did was like, I dived the healer. They were all the way in the back on the stairs. By the time I dove on them and the game actually understood that I was there, they already like started walking away kind of thing. Because by the time the animation finished, it was too late for me to get like goddamn like GCD off. I don't know. It's a little clunky. It's a little clunky. Let's just say that.
Well, what about, okay, so let's talk about the other melee though. What about Samurai? How are they holding up? Are they doing pretty good?
Can I feel something else about Dragoon before we go on?
Sure, that's okay. That's good.
Feel something?
If you like see monk, see samurai, see ninja, the outer combos are so much better. If you want to use it, it's actually awful. It's a cone and a line, so you never. It's even worse. You cannot use it at all.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And I want to say something else about the previous Dragoon. The things you could do with Dragoon previous in 4.x were unlimited. You could fragment your burst. You could go all ham in it. You could do anything you
So
wanted.
many variety.
Like for instance, I was playing like before the Tetra change on White Mage when they had Benediction. I bursted a target with the Gage Kogul full thrust, and they used Benediction because it was low. I Spine Shatter and kill the healer instantly afterwards. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
You can play dynamically. Right now you cannot do anything.
That's the thing, exactly what you said. It's like you could react, whereas now you kind of have to wait for your animations to react for you, where it's not like fun.
Okay. So
anyway, sorry about the small quotation marks, whatever. Anyway.
What?
Sorry. No, nothing.
It's good.
Nothing. Sorry about that.
The little.
Really good Frontlines though.
Yeah.
It's really good Frontlines though. It's like OP in Frontlines, man.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Ninja. Let's talk a little bit about Samurai, and just kind of see how they all play. I mean, you guys were saying a DPS felt pretty good overall. Is that true or no? They just felt like they had identities.
Which one? Samurai and Monk, you said?
Yeah, well, Samurai, Monk, Ninja, I mean, they play well. Are you happy with how they play? I mean, Monk right now, we already discussed that they're pretty much invincible, right? Or not invincible, but they can stay alive better than any other job.
They have the weaknesses and the strengths. In my honest opinion, the ranking is Samurai and Monk are top, both of them. One is stronger in terms of damage and pressure. The other is stronger in defense. And to be more exact, like Samurai have so much pressure with Siten. You get so much gauge with using Midare, and then using the copycat Midare. You get like 40 from that, and then you spam Siten every single, and you just run. That's your burst. You just pressure so much. While on Monk, your whole burst is a lot. Like you do, how it's called, 6-sided strike, I think. Into forbidden chakra, not forbidden. No, forbidden. Yeah, forbidden chakra. Wait. Sorry. Give me a second. No. I think some people actually do something else. They use 6 strike into tornado kick, into shoulder tackle, into forbidden. Then they use axe kick, and then they use another 6 strike into forbidden chakra, into tornado kick.
You know what it
is? That's the burst.
It's some variety.
You know what the burst is, bro? It's roll your face on your keyboard. That was always mine.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. But in terms of damage, in the end, it's lower than Samurai. Since you're actually using everything, then you don't have anything for after like 15 seconds.
So I actually so when it comes to like Samurai, it's by far the easiest melee to play. It's actually stupid easy. It's not stupid easy. I'm sorry. I take that back. It's very simple. Yeah, it's very simple to play. It's the easiest melee to play. I'll just say it.
Okay.
Samurai.
Yes. Yeah. It's very, very simple to play. When it comes to Ninja, you're like, yo, do I have trick? All right, let's give it a shot. You know what I mean? But you can actually do some really high tech stuff with the silence and all that stuff on Ninja. The fact that I don't know about this. I don't know about the speed, man. Like I don't know about GCD speed and where it kind of gets you. Like sure, it's pretty good when you need that staying power on somebody, when you want to just kind of stick on somebody. It's cool. Do you know what I mean? But when you're playing hide and seek, and like whoever comes up first to burst, that it doesn't work that way. But when it comes to Monk, yeah, there's so many variations you can do your burst. But the fact that you're like a walking tank, that's what. So like Samurai is like a machine gun, and Monk is like a shotgun.
Okay.
That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, it's legit like that.
Yeah, because Monk, if you let your guard down and you don't pay attention to him, someone's dead.
Yeah.
They've always felt like that though, right?
Healer.
That was their niche. That was always their niche.
It's always been like that. Big burst.
100%. Samurai is it can be a little bit more technical, but their pressure is superior.
Okay.
100%. But like, I think you can pretty much play any melee, man. You'll do fine.
They're
For
so
solo.
easy. I can play any of them,
Not
right? No,
easy. No, give it a shot.
Yeah.
I don't want to play it, dude. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to do tank properly in this current meta and setup. But I'd say, are melee players happy right now? Are they pretty content with how it's turned out for them, or
They boosted my Dragoon. I'm dissatisfied.
besides Dragoon? Let's besides Dragoon. All right.
I don't play melee. I don't know.
It's fine, I guess. It's not that different as before. Now you just don't have hard swaps, in my opinion. You rarely do them.
Okay.
So I was sitting on 81.5, and I honestly, it's a really weird thing. It's such a weird thing because the complexity of shot calling is kind of gone, and to me that was the most fun part of playing a melee.
I agree.
Okay.
Like being that shot caller and seeing these windows, you know what I mean? Like going versus like a good white mage in 4.x was like the most gigabrain shit you could do.
Add paladin with that.
Yeah.
And paladin,
Yeah.
it was the
Oh
most
my
gigabrain shit.
Like,
You felt proud of yourself, man. You're like, holy shit!
But that doesn't work for solo queue at all.
like,
You can't
dude.
have gigabrain stuff going in solo queue. It has to be.
No, you could have
could, but
Gigabrain stuff,
if they
man.
follow you, that's another story.
Yeah, that's the other.
That's the thing.
that's
Like, you're
part.
trying to work with other people with concepts they can grasp. They don't need to know the meta and the exact moves and strategy and everything right now to succeed, right?
I mean, in the end game, I call it end game, like in high tier games,
Sure.
most of the times you could pull off the big brain stuff.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
seeing the tank out of stance in 4.x, I call that instantly and killed. Like, there's nothing you can do in current PvP. That's the only target you can actually hard swap to easily is the range
Yeah.
and the healers, I guess. But they have Purify, so in the end they're not that
healers
easy.
are, I feel like, they are even tougher to kill these days than before.
Yes,
They are.
because of the Purify. Because
Yeah,
it feels
and-
like 4K.
Yeah, and now in the HOTS, you
Yeah.
have 3 heals that you could just pop sprint and just Mario Kart your ass out of there, and just
Yeah.
pop potions, and then you're free to heal for like 2 or 3 seconds solidly.
Depends
it's not-
how the enemy plays it, to be honest. Because if you're getting, for instance, slept, and you, for instance, don't use Purify, and then they stun you and you use Purify, you will survive. But like I had one game where they silenced me, I purified, they stunned me, they slept me. I couldn't do anything.
That's
I just died.
Yeah, CC chains
That
are
was
more powerful. but-
legit impossible. I couldn't do anything because I have one Purify.
That's where for healers, the CC chaining is the way you kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about that a good bit too, how CC has really evolved in this expansion. It doesn't feel, to me, I don't know, it feels like maybe it changed a little bit, but it doesn't feel like it changed too much. Like, it just kind of moved around a little bit. Is CC still as vital as it was before?
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
even more so.
Yeah.
I would say more so as well.
It's kind of weird though, because I feel like there's so much less value you can get with, okay, maybe as a tank going over and running over and stunning the healer or anything. It feels like I shouldn't even worry about the healer anymore, and I just hope someone sleeps them or does whatever, because it's so much more beneficial to stun somebody and stop them from using potions than it is to stop
Yeah,
the
and-
healer.
You don't
I'm-
even bother at this point with healer.
mean-
like, it's whatever.
I mean, my boy, your own healer is gonna take care of CCing your
Yeah.
healer, not you.
That's what
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
turned into, right?
Yes.
It's because the tank will have to be close to burst with them anyway, so
Yeah.
you might as well get the responsibility to range and heal.
Yeah, and when you see a tank running your way, you just pop sprint and swing it his way out of
I
it.
mean, that's why I took
And,
Bolt
you know-
on Paladin in 4.x to let you know. I took Bolt, and I would turn it on and run towards the healer, then run back. I wouldn't do anything to him. I just jump at him and make him like
Gigabrain.
yeah, and just run back. It worked a lot, man.
No, it definitely does. But now you don't really like wanna. I don't know. Maybe you do want to waste your sprint on that one. I don't think so.
I mean, everybody has Bolt now, right? Everybody can sprint, just whatever. It's free.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I could imagine that tanks would have more uses to bolts rather than just running to the healer.
Yeah, staying alive. It's a defensive cooldown.
Yeah,
Bolt is a defensive
yeah.
cooldown for me now.
Yeah.
You have to keep
So-
easy to keep up with people too. Like if you're on the enemy range and they're bolting, you're gonna have to bolt to get them.
Yeah, you kinda have to.
I charge. I charge
Yeah,
to stun
that's
him.
true. You can do that.
I charge to stun. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you're right. Or weapon throw and stun, right? And so there's a couple of different scenarios with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But in
Go ahead.
the CC department, I don't think like sleep on healer is even that helpful. People should just run the Largis and the protect, in my honest opinion.
Really?
Yes.
That's what some players on JP are running.
But they are safer in JP, right? So they're not as aggressive.
They're more turtle. They're more turtle in JP.
Me on personally, I think repels is like super powerful because just
really is.
baiting out purify is
Most of the time, like you might bait purify, but like most of the time when you not use it well, like most healers don't use it well. In the end, they don't even purify, so it's a waste of cooldown. Also, if you're using defensively, sometimes people attack your target, so in the end, it's useless.
Right.
Might as well have protect in the end.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always been the case.
I can understand. Sorry, I can understand it being offensive usage. It's offensive usage, but in the end, if like your tank and the range can CC properly, you won't even need to CC the healer at all. That's what I believe.
In my experience, I've gotten like a lot of use out of it, like a lot of use out of it, and I think White has as well. I haven't played with him much, but he's definitely been sleeping my ass a whole bunch. But it's always been the case that new players don't really get use out of really anything because they don't know how to use them.
They don't press the button.
But I think in higher level games, it's definitely. I'm not discrediting the fact that the large chests and whatever they could definitely be good, and especially in JP, since they're more turtle or whatever, I could definitely see that working way better. But in this aggressive meta or whatever, how people play in NA and EU, I think it's very, very powerful.
Okay.
And also like using it defensively, that is a very tricky thing to do. But you really, if you're like very aware of who's being attacked and who's not, you can really stop shit.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
It depends. If people are bad,
they're bad,
and they don't have that awareness that someone has slept, then yeah, it's useless.
Okay.
You know, the interesting thing about CC, I think, in this iteration is range holds so much more responsibility when it comes to dissecting a burst than sometimes even tanks, honestly. Like I think a good, let's say physical range. Let's just say dancer, because dancer is huge right now.
Okay.
If you are smart enough to see that there's a burst coming, your tank just stunned defensively. If you silence or bind, right after that, and then you silence right after that bind or silence or whatever you want to call it, you've just made like the biggest play of that game. It's actually incredible how much potential that has. It's not so if you look at like casters, right, like they have Phantom Dart, and the moment that Phantom Dart goes out, if nobody's dead, right, with the Phantom Dart plus Feint combo, you are less impactful than a dancer, than a physical range. I don't really know much about Bard or Machinist, but I know that dancer has, like a pretty much a permanent 10% damage up, damage down on whoever their partner is. But it's actually really, really, really impactful. So now I feel like it's more of a game of not the tank going to like waddle over and CC the healer, because not only are they putting themselves out of position, but I feel like it's more the backline that's CCing the backline. So like when on the topic of repose, I've seen games that actually a healer would sleep the other healer, and that was like the game-winning kill. Like it can be huge. It can be really, really dynamic and can be really skillful.
I mean, and that's one of the things that like reasons why I maybe most people enjoy Feast is like when you do that one thing and you see the effect afterwards. You're like, if I didn't do that thing, they wouldn't have died. If I didn't do that thing, they wouldn't have lived. For example, if I put up a damage reduction on somebody and they get down to 500 HP and go back up, I saved their life, right? It feels good. I feel like that's one of the things that a lot of people miss with PvP. They're like, oh, I play PvP. It's literally for those little moments where I feel like, holy shit, I completely saved us, or I did something that was so important to the match that we won.
One thing that I really have to point out about like situational like moments where you can pull cool shit and repose is I've noticed that when you pop, because obviously healers often use their LB as a last resort type of thing, or like close to last resort anyway. If you pop asleep there and you don't have anything left, you're fucked. Because you're so animation locked, and then plus the sleep, you can't even purify it immediately.
Propose animation.
That's been my experience.
No, the LB animation.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah. So that can often lead to kills, but that's very situational. Doesn't always happen. But like that's, I guess, a one more plus for repose. But
So we're talking about ranged a little bit here. You guys were saying, or Mateo was saying, that they're a little bit more control oriented than we're used to, right?
Absolutely. Brian could comment on Summoner, but I'll just kind of say real quick on like Black Mage. Like right now, I feel like I'm one of the only Black Mages on Aether, because mostly everyone is playing Dancer and honestly Summoner. It's kind of weird because everybody has Bolt, right? Yep. So in order to like stand and cast, it's kind of hard to catch them. Like it's much easier to otherwise. I have Bolt too, but the meta has really is favoring certain jobs, and those two jobs are definitely Dancer from the physical range, Summoner from the caster. You know what I mean? Some will say Summoner and Black Mage are pretty damn close, and they're not wrong. You know what I mean? But I think the others, if you look at Bard, Machinist, Red Mage, whew, man, they're struggling.
Yeah, you're trolling if you're playing any of these.
Oh, okay.
Red Mage too. You're actually trolling. Just might as well just Alt F4, bro.
Bro, calling out Soltech.
Jeez. All right.
Sorry, Sodek.
Well, it was always my personal belief that if you're a good enough player, you can make anything work. Like if you look at Tartella on EU, the scholar god, you know what I mean? Like he did work with it. He could make it work, but the amount of, or even like Air or even Panky on Japan, Panky had like a tweet. It's like, I get tired. My fingers get tired from playing Scholar, so therefore I'm going to switch to White Mage. This was in 4.8. Kind of thing. So it was always my belief that if you are a strong player and you're exceptional, you can make pretty much anything work. Like Lloyd with Ninja in 4.x. There's a lot of examples, but now I feel like that doesn't ring as true.
Okay. You cannot actually win with a Scholar, in my honest opinion. In a White Mage Scholar, like there's no way you can win.
That's really, really tough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the odds are stacked against you big time.
Okay.
And then when it comes to like Red Mage, Bard, and Machinist, I haven't played them honestly. I played a little bit of Red Mage, and the fact that you still have to get in there is rough.
Yeah. So Red Mage there's so much, but the main thing is that they're just not as good as the other jobs by so much, especially Red Mage. So as you said, Dancer has the silence. Bind combo. Red Mage only has bind, and that's already a weakness.
Don't you have to cast it, Brian?
Oh yeah, it has a cast time too.
Oh, okay.
It's a mess. And then Bard numbers are not as high, and at the same time it's not as survival oriented as Dancer, because Dancer could dash, and it just doesn't make sense. They need buffs for sure.
You forget that 2 people have 10% increased damage and damage.
Yeah.
Like Dancer needs a nerf, in my honest opinion.
I agree.
It's really bad design.
It's really obnoxious, actually. I think if they were to balance like Dancer, take away the offensive, like nerf their potencies or something, because I think sorry, I'm gonna step on some toes, but I think it's very easy to play.
Yeah,
I don't think there's much to it, which is good. That's okay. You know what I mean? You can still have an impact. Like the strong players have found a way to have an impact. However, I think the amount of stuff that you can bring to the table is kind of a lot. If you look at, like I said, defensive and offensive support 10% of the time. It's not 10%. That 10% is almost always on. You can put it on the tank if you wanted to, like when they're the kill target.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can just kind of keep them comfy. The dashes can, quite frankly, go fuck themselves. It's really
the full kit that makes
it's the full kit. Yeah,
over bard and machinist by a lot. It's not even a little; it's a lot.
If we don't want to nerf it, man, I would say it's kind of like the perfect job. So bring the others to it. That would probably be even better.
Yeah, it'd take a lot more work for sure, but
it would, yeah.
I don't know if that's the case. If actually making the other stronger, but because like you have some combos, as I said, like the monk dancer, you make like monk unkillable, dude. It's like it's tanks and 4.0. It's 20% reduced damage most of the time. Like you cannot do anything about that.
We didn't even mention curing waltz. Curing waltz is like another thing about that.
Exactly.
Why does it have
Healing 100k.
Meanwhile,
100k. What?
red mage can heal too, but like you have to stop your damage. It has a cast time. It's a joke.
If you look at 4.x bards, man, like the good ones, like you look at, Brian was a bard, you look at Kaze, you look at Nick. There's a lot of EU bards like Audacity and all of them. Like they did really good because they timed their silence and they were excellent with their binds. You know what I mean? And that's literally what makes a good physical range to this day now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like people are like pointing. Like I know Gab's talking about Monk a lot, but people are pointing the finger at Monk. But they're like dancers just chilling in the back. Like, yo, don't look at me.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like dancer is the thing that needs change, not the monk, in my opinion.
100%.
So, I mean, I guess we talked about a lot of different roles and jobs so far. One of the things that we can kind of end at the point here with that section is that there's definitely an imbalance between different jobs.
Absolutely.
And I don't, again, we're in the dark about what changes are happening for PvP. We just know they're happening, and I hope that having the season doesn't slow down those changes. If it does, then that would have been the wrong decision to put the season out. I think it was good to put it out to give us some time, but yeah, having a huge discrepancy here is not fun, and I guess that's one of the reasons why they apologized before the season came out.
Did they actually?
Well, I mean, they didn't apologize. They said since we demanded to have it out, they did it before.
Okay.
Gotcha. They put it out. They
900 IQ to put the blame on us.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like, and I saw that in a couple things. I was like, yeah, why would you say because we demanded? It was so offensive to me, and I'm sorry. I always want to say good thing and be positive in general and not try to give Square Enix too much of a hard time, because I feel like we honestly do give Square Enix way harder of a time than we probably should. But when I read that, I was pissed when they said because of your demand and we want to listen to you, we're going to put a season out 7 months after the fucking expansion came out, as if that was something unreasonable to ask for and you're doing it just to make us happy. So I'm sorry. That was a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, the wording could have definitely been better.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Man, I think. Sorry, Frosty.
No, it's fine.
Man, I think if you want to understand why they kind of like did it that way, you need to understand. I feel like they've adopted and probably even perfected their theology of like, play this content within this period of time. We don't want to step on the toes of this content by making other people play the other content. So they want to give full respect to the content. They're respecting the content.
Okay.
So like I said, like the Frontlines mode, I think they full well wanted us to play it until 5.2. They wanted us to really explore and like really dish out everything we could in the new Frontlines. I really think that, because I think they were afraid of releasing PvP season or PvP whatever while the expansion was new, right? So you have like a month of MSQ that's new, and then you have, like the normal raid that's new, and then you have the Savage raid, and then you have the new Frontlines. It's like, I think and then you have the Blue Mage stuff, and I think they had like an issue where they could slot it so it could get its most, like where it could get the most usability out of it, like people playing it.
Okay. I got what you mean, but you know what was released 5.1 exactly?
I don't remember.
The Ultimate.
Ultimate
was released
6 weeks, 7 weeks ago. 5 weeks since Ultimate release, I think, if not more. It's 2 weeks before that. It's 7 weeks, I think, almost 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, when we say main story quest, by the way, when they release that doesn't mean they can't release any. That doesn't count as part of the content that holds up other content, because it's 10 hours, 5 hours of content, and you're done. Right? It's maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. So that doesn't
for you, right? Like I sorry, I keep interrupting. I know a lot of people that like simply just play this game for the story, and like
No,
I'm
they-
a notorious cutscene skipper. Like I could care less personally. Like I'll probably get some flack, but I skip like pretty much everything. I just don't care. I'm sorry.
I watch cutscenes, but it's still pretty fast thing to
Is
do.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I pay attention to the story and I do the stuff and I try to find out what's going on, but that doesn't take up a lot of time.
Yeah,
It
right.
takes up almost no
So they're
time. A
overestimating.
day. A day
Right.
for casual players, they would be through it.
So is it a let's be blunt then. So are they just milking the content?
Well, I mean, during that content, during this time, and one you have Ultimate, which is niche in itself, but not as niche as PvP, I suppose. Ultimate is one of those things that like everyone wants to watch and see it happen and everything else, and I can understand they want to do that. There are people who cross over from doing Ultimate and doing Feast. We have a good handful of players who do that.
Sure.
And they want to give time for people to do that. So I understand that. So give them time to do that. And then, I don't know, after 4 weeks, maybe start a Feast season. But I think after 4 weeks, they did Frontlines, right? I can't
Yes.
remember the exact schedule.
It did, yeah.
And I feel like that would have been good to, maybe they want to put Feast right on top of Frontlines. But then again, Frontlines would have also went really well with the middle
PvP,
of
bro.
5.0. Right? Because Savage
Yeah,
Raid
yeah,
happens.
that's true.
Savage Raid happens. Okay, so that's cool. Savage is going on. That gets done a lot quicker than Ultimate. I mean, more people do it, but it can be done a lot quicker. And the people who do it have do it slowly, have very minimal schedules to do it. Like they raid 2-3 times a week. So in the other time, they could be doing other content, and PvP could be part of that other content. But they also release Blue Mage. They release a couple other things in the most recent patches to give people other stuff to do. I feel, again, if they just shifted this a little bit earlier, that's fine, Mateo. You can laugh at me, you piece of shit.
Doo-doo.
Oh, doo-doo, yeah, I'm sorry. But if they moved all this stuff over a little bit earlier in 5.0, it would have been way better. It just would have been. If they would have just had this season
For sure.
in the middle of 5.0, it would have been okay.
Or at least tell us, like that's been the big thing though. At least say like the season is gonna happen in 5 point whatever.
Yeah.
But we knew nothing, so we just had to wait and assume. Or
Yeah, it
hope.
was a whole bunch of silence.
Yeah. So now I can just kind of hope we're at the beginning of them moving this train along. PvP is going to keep going. We kind of have this fear in the back of our head that's just going to drop again, though, right? You kind of have this small fears, like, are they actually going to focus on it now, or are they just going to treat it like they've done at the beginning of the expansion? We don't know because they haven't communicated what their intentions are with PvP for this expansion. And again, that goes all the way back to the beginning where Thana was talking about this, and something I've carried as a comment and criticism is that they need people dedicated to some of this content that just says, or maybe just a content person, whether they cross over between PvP and PvE, they just focus on some of those different sections and amp it up or ramp it up or whatever they do. They try to make you excited for it. Yeah. For you, Brian. But they just try to make people excited for it, and they're just not really doing it. I don't know.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna quote that real quick. I'm just gonna quote that one tweet again, man, because
Okay,
I
sure.
sincerely see it as this is a thing. I said, man, all it would have taken to satiate players that wanted a feast season would have been to communicate. A simple, shit's not ready, fam. Y'all come back 5.2. You hear? Instead of padding content, just tell us to play other games again or something. That's 100%, man. Like talk to us, bro. Like we're not gonna bite. You know, like sure, okay. Now we're beta testing this because maybe not enough people played preseason. Cool. I have faith that it's gonna be better than it is. I'm not saying it's not fun. It can.
No,
be
right
fun.
now I'm gonna let you know I'm having a lot of fun in Feast, and I feel
Sure.
like that might be confusing people because I wanted to have a conversation on the state of Feast
Surprising.
and have a, hey, let's talk about the stuff, and that always leads into us talking about the issues and not all the things that we're enjoying while doing it. I'm actually having a pretty good time with it. There are things that need to change, obviously, but I'm still enjoying playing Feast right now, and I think a lot of people, if they tried it right now and they tried to learn things and understand it, been a part of the community or anything else, they would enjoy it too. I feel like Feast is really enjoyable content, and they can make it better, but I'm not trying to steer people away by saying there's these issues. I'm just trying to emphasize them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I've been playing on alts. I know a lot of people, like even JB players playing on NA, NA players playing on JP, EU players playing NA. So there's people enjoying it, but it does need more help and then this season was rushed, even though it shouldn't have been because it was 7 months.
No, yeah, it should have been. I
My
mean,
biggest gripe with it, man. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say my biggest gripe with it is that I don't feel like PvP is treated with much respect.
No.
The reason why I say that is like Frontlines, they could have done it right, but they didn't. I guess they underestimated what players are capable of, and being really shitty, to be honest, with the GC sync. But it happened everywhere, and like if you're gonna take away one thing, something's gonna give. So I do get it. With Feast, I feel like they didn't respect it either, in a sense. Like, okay, here's a half-baked season, but don't worry, the good stuff's coming, kind of thing. So I feel like if they want to get more people into it, you got to give them more respect, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
good.
about the fun factor, it's surprising to me that you're having fun, because I can with confidence say that my quality of life while I wasn't touching 14 and especially Feast was so much higher than when I started playing again.
All right, Brian.
That was a joke.
No,
Kind
I
of.
was going to say, no, you want to be like that piece of shit? Go ahead, Dan. That's fine.
No.
It's definitely not better than. I don't think it's better than 4. The end of 4.0.
Yeah, 4.x.
Yeah, not better, but
I think it's
still
going
not.
in the right direction. I mean,
agree with that.
if they fix the issues that are there, it would be better than 4.x. And I feel like the direction they're taking is making it better than what it was last expansion.
Kind of makes you think.
Well-
sorry, Gab, I'm talking a lot, but just
Yeah,
really
it's fine,
quick,
it's fine.
I just want to say, it kind of makes you think, if the community was not this active, if there wasn't people at Revival Wings, if there wasn't people at PewDiePie Stand, all of these other Discords creating community events, what would happen to PvP?
Oh, it'd
yeah,
be
I
gone.
wonder too.
Absolutely. The community
Yeah,
is what holds
probably.
PvP together. Yeah.
But then when we're talking about they start being better and it has a better basis and we can build upon it, it will be better than 4.0. I think Dan a couple of days ago brought up a really good point that, and I've thought about this myself a couple of times, but like it reminded me of it, that whenever you keep scrapping an entire section of a system or the entire system,
Yeah.
you need to start again and then rebuild on that and like start building that up. And then when you scrap that again, you're basically resetting it back to like step 1.
Yeah.
Like 3.0 to 4.0 was resetting it to step 0, and now we're like we got
Again.
like step 4 maybe, and then now we're back to 1.
I don't think
So-
we're back to
so
1
there's-
right
there's-
now. I mean, we might
Okay,
be
2
going
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's pretty
But
much.
this is a completely different thing to balance
Mhm.
than 4.0.
Yeah,
It is.
Like abilities are kind of same here and there, but like it's still a completely different thing to balance than 4.0 and trying to like perfect that, I suppose.
yeah, because heal numbers and damage numbers and potion numbers.
Yeah,
I don't even
constantly
know how could you
resetting it.
balance.
Yeah, constantly resetting the mode is a problem.
Yeah.
It is. And I don't know if they're going to go for it again, or if they're just going to make big balance changes and give us new maps. That's what we're all hoping for, right? We want to see new maps. We're really tired of looking at a yellow screen all day.
To be fair, I'm looking forward to Burst Ready more than I'm looking for new maps.
Okay.
Like, where is it? It is such a simple
quick check.
thing to add, dude. Like,
By the way, you
okay.
actually don't even need that right now. The burst ready.
Well, okay, fair enough,
Technically,
but
you don't need it
still,
right now, yeah.
still, you
You
know,
technically
people have
don't
been
need it.
asking for 1 ping for like 3 years.
I mean, look,
and they're
look,
like, no, you're not getting it.
look how much we waited for the countdowns.
Yes. So they're like, okay, countdowns, 1.5 years, 2 years maybe, and like, hello, it's gonna be replaced by Burst Ready in about 5 years. What are you doing? It's 1 line,
Yeah.
1 ping.
I know, right?
You guys remember that macro with 5 or 6 lines?
Huh?
Wait, what macro?
The old countdown macro that we
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, I like that macro. It was fucking awful with the Dragoon side, but it was decent. I like it.
can't macro.
Like,
You can't macro because if you do a macro while the counter macro is happening, it'll just break. So
Yeah, it cancels itself.
that was crazy. It was like you have some like insane knowledge. Like when a new player asks you, like when a new melee or whoever the countdowns like asks you, like, yo, what am I doing wrong? It's like, are you doing the countdown macro? It's like, what the hell is that? You know, and you give it to them, they're like, whoa, like It was
Oh,
just
shit.
funny. Yeah, exactly. Now when you say like hello equals burst, that's still the most common thing I see. It's like, what the hell? Why is this person BMing me? Like I already said hi.
That's
Yeah.
also a
Yeah,
thing that is
yeah,
very
that's true.
like that's a very good point. Why we should get the burst rating macro, because
Yes.
new players are gonna be like, what the fuck is this
Yeah,
dude
man.
screaming 6 minutes straight? Like, hello, 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 hello.
Yeah. Man, I swear, if I don't see a melee do a countdown, and I'll just sit there and listen to the range spam their hello, just waiting for like someone to respond. I'm like, well, you could do the countdown, or I'll just do it, and I just target one person and I do countdown. I mean, it ends, okay, I count down again on the same thing. It ends, okay, I count, because come on, it's one button.
They're part of the problem, man. They can start doing countdowns.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But anyways, I kind of want to talk about this a good bit. We are getting towards the part of close to the end of the show. We've already been going over 2 hours here. I want to say with Feast right now and PvP in Final Fantasy XIV, it has been the #1 shit on content by the community and everything else going on. And no matter what we say, no matter what we do, no matter anything, it's always the same stuff coming back. People just want to shit on it. It feels like they just don't want. I mean, it's part of our problem too, because when we shit on it enduringly in a way, almost. I don't know, like
They don't know that.
yeah, and it's so hard to translate. And right now, it's so difficult to change people's minds that PvP isn't bad. It's not like Overwatch. It's not a completely team that's dedicated to making a competitive game. It's just content that is in the game that we enjoy doing that they should have some people dedicated to making. But I don't know. How do we change this perception right now that Feast is such shit? I mean, there are issues. Yeah, it's not perfect. There's issues with fucking PvE. There's issues with every single piece of content in the game in some manner or form.
And I think if you really want to play this game at its fullest, and you really want the most dynamic content this game has, you will play PvP. You will play Feast.
Yeah,
it is literally the most dynamic content that this game has.
Yeah.
There's no exactly.
Oh, come on.
Man, the way that I look at like Reddit, the last time I was on your show, Frosty, I think I decapitated someone in Twitch chat. I was a win trader or something like that.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
The way I see like Reddit people and like PvP, some dude's gonna be like sitting wherever the hell he's sitting in his PC or his whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Oh, PvP post. Blah. This shit sucks. How dare you slap me? This shit sucks. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Like, dude, it is fun. Yeah, sure. We talked about some things. It is very engaging if you allow it to be. Okay. It's so much easier to be an asshole about something that you don't understand and don't know. It's so much fucking easier. Oh, I don't know how to bake a cake. Therefore, you know,
baking's for idiots. Stupid.
You're a fucking idiot for baking.
You have to put it in a stove.
Dude, like you need to do a lot of work if you want to be good at PvP.
Yeah.
Therefore, I feel like people like are just not good at it. Like they're gonna hate it because they're not good at it, and they've had 1, 2, 3, even 10 bad experiences. That's super rare.
It's not as good as Counter-Strike, or it's not as good as, Overwatch, or it's not as good as...
I don't get it.
Yeah. I really like for myself, like, sure, yeah, man, there's a lot better games. And if you're the type of person that has tried it, this is not for me. I'm going to go keep playing whatever else I'm playing. Cool, man. You're not part of the problem. The people that are part of the fucking problem, I'm getting like upset. I'm fucking seething. I feel myself.
Okay.
Are the ones that are like, oh my God, someone just marked me ignore. Blah. Man, shut the fuck up, man.
Right.
Shut the fuck up, man. That shit's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna happen as often as you think it is. Like, it has not happened. I'm probably sure it's happened like maybe 10 times across the entire population of Aether.
Where people mark you ignore?
Not for me. Like, I've seen it happen, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It's not a big fucking deal. Like, yeah, sure, the community can be toxic. The community can suck.
Every community is toxic. Yeah.
It can be really, really bad, but not in the same context as some people fucking put it as. Oh my God, people are win trading. Like the fact that that's actually like a thing that people believe, that people in the top 100 win trade for their spot, is the most ridiculous fucking thing this game has. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Continue, whatever the fuck you're doing in this game. Like, play Hello Kitty.
It's like so many people streaming their matches too. So how can you
Yeah.
even like make that conclusion?
I mean, okay, so if we're gonna be honest, there are 2 people that have been known for it, and they've created this huge bad name because it is possible. It is possible to abuse the system, but it's so much easier just to play the game and not suck. For me, it is. I don't know. Like I'd rather log in and have fun and enjoy playing at match, and I think most people would. They would enjoy being good in some way at PvP, but you can't base the entire mode of PvP in Final Fantasy XIV off of a couple of assholes. I mean, the same thing happens in the raiding scene, right? They'll say, "Oh, well, if they're world first, so here's all of the horrible things that they do. Everyone who does world race, oh, here's all the horrible things." Yeah, shit exists, but fuck, man, there's so much lack of knowledge to what actually happens behind it all that just drives me insane.
It's really because most people focus on PvE, so they sort of their view encompasses a lot more things than just the negative things because they're in contact with that thing. But the biggest things about PvP that like leak out sort of are like the bad stuff. Like that's what gets out to people the most, not the good stuff. And I feel like I think it's like 2 things that like contribute to the fact that white PvP gets shit on so much. One is, we've talked about it on the show as well, is Square Enix's lack of respect or like sort of dedication to the mode. It's easier to view the mode and just that side of the game in a negative light and not as a positive light if you don't get that much out of it. What do you get out of PvP if you're not in the top 100? You don't get fuck shit. Like nothing. You don't get anything.
Yep.
So the thing is that when it doesn't reward the casual people at all after they've got like their first maybe 60,000 wolf marks and they got mounts and maybe a couple of armor pieces or whatever, you don't get anything out of it. So why would you play? And then when you hear something like, oh, people are win chatting, it's just like, oh, this terrible, I got ignore marked and I'm not getting shit out of this mode. And it's like, it's a bad thing. Why would I touch it? Why would I recommend it to people, etc. And also the fact that actually forgot my second point. Someone talk.
Okay. No, there's something that I keep seeing repeated here a little bit is like, why not just do a publicity show for PvP where we only say good things about PvP? Or,
what did he say?
You're muted. Oh.
They want like Derp is commenting, why not just have a show where we say all the things that we like. We have a nice little kumbaya circle and we just say Feast is great because of so and so and this is great because of so and so, and
but that comes off as really like
fake as shit. I don't want to have a show where it's like, oh well, it's just a lot of people just trying to sell everyone else on PvP. And I don't think that I don't think that's the right way to go about it.
Because like the mode itself and Square Enix's work, etc., should like draw people in, not the fact that people like the community is out there like on the fucking on the wall screaming like PvP is fucking amazing, dude.
It's so good.
That's not the reason why people should be coming in. The reason why people should be coming in is because it's good. It's because people enjoy it. People like talk good. Like,
and it's Square Enix's job
positive life
to make people want to play it too, right? And so, in my role in my little shitty podcast here is just for us to talk about how we feel. It's not shitty anymore. Thanks. I know it was shitty at some point, but no. What I think the point here is just to talk about stuff that the community is talking about. And right now, people aren't talking about, oh, Feast is good because of this, this, and this. Things that are important are medals. Things that are important are like the changes to medal vulnerability. Things, the potions. These are things that we're talking about in the community. I do this for people to talk about here, not to sell stuff. I don't sell fake concepts on here. I mean, I enjoy PvP. That's not fake, but I don't want to have an entire show where it's just literally us trying to sell people to play PvP.
You know what's kind of like sad in my opinion is that it's just such a vicious circle, because in order for Feast to be better than it is, you require the devs to, quote unquote respect them more and communicate more and things like that. But in order for fees to be good as well, you need more players to be playing. Like I feel like everything would be like better if we had more players. I think it's a simple thing, but when it's such a stupid cocktail of, I don't want to call it Reddit too much, but it's individuals that haven't really they don't have much experience. They don't have much experience, and they're a loudmouth.
Okay.
You know, and they tout that they know what they're talking about and that their experience is the only one that should be heard, when it is not the case. So basically, if we had more players, we would get more respect and more resources from Square Enix, and therefore we would have a better mode. The problem also lies in people with people with authority that are making claims.
You are never gonna fix that, Mateo.
I need to say, like,
Sure,
I need to
go
comment, but that's
Thana,
literally the reason why we're all wearing jerseys today.
Yes,
it's true. Yeah, it's just like, fuck you guys. It's a little spiteful. I mean, of course, people are gonna go out there and they're gonna say this stuff, and influencers and all this stuff. It's the opinion to say, right? And you can go in there and you can easily find things that you don't like about Final Fantasy XIV PvP. It's a lot harder to find things that you do like because you actually have to play and try to be good.
The problem is, yeah, sure, people will have their opinions, but if you're the type of person that kind of clings on to any sort of opinion, I think those people kind of hear this and they validate it for their own inability to play the mode. That they got scared. It's like, oh, you know what? This guy said that it's bad. Therefore, it validates exactly what I thought. So I'm just gonna go with that. So I think the people that play this game aren't making enough effort. First of all, I've said this over and over again. I
agree 100%.
100% not making enough effort. Like, I think actually even like rating itself, like Savage rating, is not like as popular as it should be, kind of thing. So I feel like the people that play this game kind of want like a more chill atmosphere or something. I don't know, which is cool. You know, you do you.
Yeah.
But in reality, I just don't think people make enough effort to really enjoy the mode and like form their own opinion. Just form your own opinion, man, and go from there.
Yeah, it's a casual game at the end of the day. Like, it's just designed that way, so a lot of people won't do Ultimate and Feast. But it does suck when people who don't even try either of those things just like crap on it.
No, it does.
The thing is, this is kind of a paradox. Like, you want a game which is casual at the same time while it being competitive. You cannot have both. And like, when people see this is hard to improve at, they're like lazy and they say, well, whatever, like Fist is bad or we are win trading or whatever, you know. That's my opinion, to be honest. That because it cannot be casual content, PvP cannot be casual.
Correct.
People just give up on it. Just don't want to have anything with it.
There's still a stigma that like the queues don't even pop at all. That's not on Reddit.
That's not true.
And you're
right.
If you queue when everyone is literally asleep within the time zone that server is in or within that environment,
it won't pop.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just content in general.
It's everything.
Yeah,
literally.
I sit here and there have been times, I think a couple of times this season so far, when I come home from work and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting like 20-ish minutes or so for a queue to pop, but I'm not sitting here looking at the screen, waiting, being like, I can't do anything unless if this pops. I do something else that I want to do with my time, and when it pops, I queue in and I enjoy what I'm doing. So I don't know.
I think that's also sorry. That's also the fact that when you're queuing for something in 14, you're limiting yourself in a very big way as to what you can do. And a lot of the stuff that people usually do, I feel like, are queued stuff. So you could be doing something where you can get it in like instantly that you're already familiar with, you enjoy it, whatever. You're trying this new thing and you can't get in instantly. It becomes more of a barrier when you can't do anything. Like, okay, you can craft, you can do stuff like that, but you can't do like the meaningful stuff that people are usually doing when you're queuing. So if you're just literally waiting for the queue, you feel like, and you get more frustrated, you feel like you can't do anything because you're waiting on that one thing while you could be doing something else.
Hmm.
So if it doesn't pop instantly for people, I feel like that becomes more of a deterrent.
And
but it does pop often. It just
pops way more often than sometimes. I'm like doing stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm done with a match. Let me queue up, and it pops immediately. I'm like, fuck. I don't want it to pop immediately. I want it to wait a little bit, cool down, and do something else, and then get into the match. But there are situations where it's just like back to back. If you leave the match, don't commentate anybody. Guys, don't.
That is what I do.
Yeah, don't commentate anyone. Just leave immediately.
I'm an asshole.
Don't just leave immediately and then queue back up so you get the faster next game that would happen. So
some lightning fingers always manage to get like a combination or two before I'm like, yeet! I'm out of there. But some people are like, commentate.
You should be able to commentate after the match is done.
Yeah,
if you can friend people after a match on a different server, you would think you'd be able to commentate someone from a previous game. I don't know.
I'm just point this out to you, NA boy. You just said commentate.
Yeah, I know commentate.
3 times.
Commentate.
Got you.
You got me, dude.
Dude, I thought he said calm your titties for a second. I was like, what the hell?
I said that too.
You should be able to calm your titties. I want it out of the
after
game.
a match. I want to. Like if it pops immediately, I can't. Anyways.
Actually, you know what's kind of interesting? I'll just kind of touch on it briefly, but when it came to the FRC, people were already having a defeatist attitude. Like our team, like my team, for example, we were like, holy shit, this is cool, man. Like there was a lot that we won, man. Gab can, like, even the people that did not get rank 1 or whatever, they didn't beat the FRC. We got a lot, man. Like we got to meet like some of the friends that we've shared a lot of our life.
Amazing,
you know?
bro.
Amazing.
That was like life changing for me. I got to go to Europe too.
Yeah, well said, bro. Sorry, Brian.
Go ahead.
It was amazing. It was like the best experience for me in this game, like to this day. And like my team, we were like, yo, this is fucking cool. Like there's a lot on the line here. As soon as the servers go up, we're gonna queue. It was like 5 a.m. or something. My time, 6 a.m. So that was pretty unreasonable of us. But, you know, the hype train kind of hit us. We were sitting in queue for an hour. We're like, okay, that's not going to happen. We came back, you know, like we took the day off. We came back at like 3 p.m. or something like that. It was dead for like an hour. And then finally we got a game and it was dead again for like an hour.
Are you talking about team?
Are you talking about the qualifying period for
yes,
FRC?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, why did the community give up already?
Yeah.
On the FRC, like wasn't this like?
I don't think anyone even like a couple people, a very small amount of people outside of the PvP community and the PvP community itself.
Yeah.
Whoever could get a team together anyway. Yeah. I don't think anyone else outside of that was even slightly like remotely looking into getting into there.
Because getting a team together is like finding a second static for some people. Like they have to find people they want to play with. They have to find people who would be on the same wavelength of them with how they play. There's a lot of factors to it, and there's not enough that's encouraging people to do. There is, right? There was stuff on the line, but it was just people looked at it and they said, there's already people better at it than what I could ever be. So why would I even try?
It's like top 100 amped into a 10 because top 100 people look like that's a very prevalent opinion as well. Like people is always saying on Reddit, like top 100, I'm never gonna get into there. Like people I've been playing with decades, and they know everything. I don't. Like, why would I get there? Like, why would I grind for like months when I know I'm like not good at it and I'm not gonna get the rewards? And why would I put the time into it? And then Light Party, only 16. Like what? How many teams was it? I can't remember.
4.
But it was like
it was
teams.
It depends. No, it was 6 for the
semis, right?
Semis, and then
yeah. So if I can't get into the top 100 people of a whole data center, why would I even try and get into the top 6 teams?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of interesting to me is personally, I'm gonna speak personally here. If the ultimate tier, right, like let's say Alex, right, had these crazy ass rewards like for beating first, like if you get like a laptop, you get peripherals, you get sent out to Vegas, you get a free room, you get to meet everybody, I would bust my ass to learn that shit and try to win that thing. So I don't know, man. Like, there's so much hustle.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much hustle for that. You get a weapon, you get a title, you get recognition. Cool. But is any? But I don't know. It's kind of weird to me.
It's like
It's kind of weird to
we're
me. Like,
different people.
Mhm.
Like it's really weird.
yeah.
Where's
I
the
think-
recognition, my
I
bro?
think the same way as you.
The recognition.
If I wasn't into PvP, I think I would try and learn it if I heard about FRC.
Right.
I'm the same way. Like, anything that sounds even remotely challenging, honestly.
Yeah, but we're like the super minority in that, I would say.
Yeah.
I guess so.
But I really want to ask Mateo a question. Has anyone recognized you through, like, have you like, what is your title right now? Is it the
I have
FRC title?
the champion title. I'm changing it for 2020 though, right away here.
Okay. But like, has anyone, if you've had that on, has anyone even asked you about it?
Very minimal.
Okay, because I've
Very
got
minimal.
zero.
Yeah.
No, every once in a while, I hear people talking about it in shout chat when Mateo is around and he has it on.
It happened.
Damn,
Yeah.
boy, popular.
They're like, holy shit! Only 6 people have this title. This is the most
That's
amazing.
you saying that. that's literally him saying that.
I do make an effort if I see that title.
You're instigating it.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
No
look
one
at this
asked
famous
me.
dude.
No one asked me about mine, man. Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a thread on Reddit?
LOL.
Bro? Yeah, for real. Wasn't there a thread on Reddit about some dude standing in Yulmore with the perfect legend title and the weapon out, telling them to stop bragging?
Oh yeah, I saw that
Mhm.
recently.
Right.
Feels bad, man.
What the hell?
I mean,
People are
Wait,
salty.
someone with
man.
perfect legend told someone with the FRC title to stop bragging.
No. Someone
The other
with.
way.
Yeah.
No. It was just some random person saw someone with the perfect title, the perfect legend title, or a weapon, and he was just AFK in a town, and he came up to him, he's like, "Stop bragging."
Fucking
Oh.
teddy bear, bro. What?
Yeah.
So if I have a Porsche in real life and I like drive it down the street, I slow it down real nice,
Yeah,
somebody
that's-
gonna like yell at me and shit.
if you hit the gas really
Get out of your
hard,
car!
Why?
if you hit the gas
Why you
real
have a
hard, yeah.
Porsche, bro?
Oh my
Give me
God.
your money, man.
How come you're successful, bro? Stop being successful, man. What the fuck?
It is weird. There is some weird
Awful
underlying,
mentality, to be
yeah.
honest.
And I hope this changes. And I don't know what Square Enix needs to do to change it, because they definitely, I feel like they put something into 4.x to make PvP different and to try to promote PvP, but it really didn't catch like they wanted it to. And I hope that whatever plans they have for the rest of this expansion works.
Are people gonna play like FRC? Because I think that was like a test for Square Enix. I'm pretty sure that they were like testing the waters
Mhm.
with the FRC and everything like that, and like it was a huge hit, man. It was a huge hit. I saw people like Sly or whatever in the front, and Mr. Happy, they were watching in the front. They were going nuts. They were like, "Holy shit, this is crazy!" I wonder, like, if the FRC is announced again, if more people will participate. If they don't, then I don't fucking.
I don't think they will. No.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be more teams because there's more people playing at the moment, but it won't be like random raiders, I don't think, and stuff like that.
It's a shame.
It's
I
just
think
very
it's still gonna
difficult.
be the same people.
Yeah, the way that they did it was not the right way to promote people playing team. Doing like a 24-hour queue of team matches with such a low population of teams, we ran into tons of issues with it.
Yes, we did.
Tons of drama. Lots of things that they need to change how they do it. They can't do it the same way.
For sure.
But that's a whole nother conversation. I feel like we need to start wrapping up. I feel bad because we've been going on for a while. Let's.
Okay, old man.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Almost 3 a.m. for me, man. Come on, leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Well, I mean, I don't know if chat has any questions. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask, go ahead and ask them while we go through this last few bits of the show here. I have no giveaway for today. Sorry. I probably could do one, but I'm tired.
Wait, some subs, man.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. I don't have any. It would just be another Mog Station giveaway and everything else. I could do a give. You know what? Let's do one giveaway. It wouldn't come right after the show is over. I would get your information and I'd give it to you a little bit later. But let's create a giveaway, and then I just need to type in a word. What's a good chat word for the giveaway?
Exclamation mark raffle.
Oh my god. All right. You know what? All right. Let's see if that works. I don't know if that works or not. All right. Let's see. Exclamation mark raffle. So type that in chat and see if that exclamation mark throws it off.
Okay, move bot. Just yeah.
No, it works. Okay, there we go. So if you guys want to enter in a Mog state, it's up to $25. And then it doesn't matter. There's no other rules or anything. But you need to type in exclamation mark raffle in chat. And if you're on the show, you can type it in too. You guys can enter. I don't care.
You know what the funniest thing?
Yeah.
You know what the funniest thing? If you're a really solid player and you're on your main and you go into like an unranked game and you see another solid veteran on the other team or on your team, it's like the most awkward thing. You're like, hey, what are you doing here, bro? Like it's such a weird, weird thing.
What?
Like if you're unranked, right? For whatever reason you didn't play a season and whatever, and you're solid, you're a veteran, like you know how to play the game, and you find another one on the opposite team or with you. It's such a weird thing. It's like, oh, hey man, like what's up? Like it's I don't know. It's funny to me.
It's like so a really good player versus another really good player while all the other players suck.
Yes. Yeah.
It's basically like two moms taking their kids to kindergarten.
Yes, thank you. 100%. 100%.
It is strange, man. I will say that like every time I played a match that had unranked players in it, I literally mentally said, I don't care if I win or lose. It doesn't matter. There's nothing I can do. If I don't recognize the names here, it could just seriously be who has this one player and he swaps back and forth between the two teams. Because the difference in someone who's never played versus someone who's played a few games is huge. God damn, dude. They literally run around in circles and do 30k damage. It's you do a couple attacks and you get that much damage, right?
You do.
It's just I feel like there are. I mean, it's not a lot. All right, I have to say that again. It's not a lot that you see that, especially after you get past, you get into gold and start going forward. But man, if you're going to try Feast, if I've encouraged anyone to try Feast, look something up before you queue in.
Yes, please.
I mean, like Frontlines, just doing Frontlines will let you at least hit globals and understand that.
And say, oh, I pressed this, I spin in a circle. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So, like I might have sounded a bit elitist here and there during this show, saying that 14 players are kind of when it comes to finding out stuff before they get into it, but whatever. But like the only thing that I would honestly want from new players, you can suck as much as you want. But the only thing that I want from you is that you read the guide and see, okay, there's a buff box. Like there's two buff boxes. One gives you adrenaline, that's my LB, and one gives Wolf's Heart. That's all I want you to know. But because people don't even look at them, and that's the very basis of the mode.
Right.
That's like you don't need to know anything about like focus attack, like bursting, CCing the healer. Like I don't care if you're unranked. I don't care. Just notice the boxes, please, for the love of God.
All right, guys, I'm giving you one more chance to type in exclamation mark raffle here to get the giveaway. Let's. Oh shit! How do I do this? Brian's the streamer here.
What?
All right, here we go. I got it. I guess I don't know. Let me check and see if anyone's asked a question. I feel like I should ask some questions here. All right, they want a tier list for each role this patch.
Oh boy,
Brian, you got this.
It's so opinions. It's so much opinionated.
All right, what's the Brian tier list?
Okay, here we go. Healers, I think Astral is better than White Mage.
Can't explain it. Don't explain it. Just say what it is.
Just say it? Okay.
Yeah.
Astral, White Mage Scholar for healer. Melee, Monk, Samurai, Dragoon, Ninja. Range, Dancer, Summoner, Black Mage, Bard, Machinist, and then Red Mage. And for tank, Dark Knight, Warrior, Paladin, Gunbreaker. That was in order from best to worst.
Are Summoner Oh no, our scholar, bard, machinist, and red mage classes. I don't know. First time I hear them.
Your turn.
Actually, related to this, when Brian said Dark Knight Warrior Paladin, I was like, okay, that's a fair list. And then it's a contract. I was like, what?
It's gonna be a
What's
class, bro.
Yeah.
What's that? First time,
I
bro.
haven't seen
It
very
is
many.
a new class.
I see. No, people are playing. Man, people are still playing these jobs, even though they get shit on in Discord communities and everything else. They're still playing them.
I mean, I appreciate the people who are playing them because when people make a tier list or say that that's his bad job, you know, at least someone is going to be experienced that and can maybe have somewhat of an opinion and give feedback, and maybe the devs will hear it if that said player gives that feedback. So I appreciate the people who are playing those jobs, because if they didn't, then I don't think the devs could possibly know what the fuck is wrong with them.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's kind of cool to be like a low tier god, I would say, but this is to an extent. Like scholars too much, too low,
Yeah,
too weak.
it's too
it
bad.
is.
It's too bad.
Okay.
Also about the tier list, I think samurai is equal with monk.
Thing
It shouldn't
equal.
be.
I didn't want to use equals, so I just said
Mhm.
All right. Also, the combos like summoner and dancer are also equal. Like if you have a summoner with
I agree too.
a samurai with a summoner, this is actually strong. But if you have a monk with a dancer, it's equally strong. It's really strange, actually.
Okay.
If you think about it.
I agree. I've been playing Summoner over Dancer actually.
So
Both are really good though.
getting
Since,
off of.
since
think-
chat
I think
isn't asking
we
us, no,
Sure,
go,
sure.
go ahead, go ahead.
Nope.
Gab.
Gab,
Oh,
Gab.
all right. I think we should have a tier list with combos instead of classes, because there are like those 4 classes are equal, in my honest opinion.
The what?
We have combos like summoner with a summoner.
Oh, so like meta comps, having different meta
Yeah.
comps. Okay.
Instead of tier list, because I think the classes are equal. Those 4 classes are equal.
Okay.
Since the chat isn't asking us questions, I'm gonna ask chat a question.
Mm.
Who's our LTG?
LTG.
I don't know. Low tier god.
Oh.
I don't
Oh. Okay. Who is it?
Who is it?
All
I
right.
have no idea.
While we're waiting.
Brian
on
has a
that-
clue because he's laughing.
While we're waiting on that, I'll ask this other question here. Do you guys want to see armor with PvP stats come back?
Wouldn't say so.
No.
No,
I mean,
think
it
it's-
gave a bit of a flavor, I guess. Made like different choices, but wouldn't love it, to be honest. I didn't like it that much.
Okay. I mean, it was one of those things that people say if you bring that back, it would convince people to play and then get armor to get into PvP.
you don't need power creep to PvP. Man.
I think it'll be awkward now because of the requirement to enter PvP is just level 30. So like you'll be able to play the job, but you won't be able to wear the armor because it would be like high level stuff. That's weird.
Okay.
To me.
Also, in the end, only one set would be meta. So you don't change anything. You just put a wall, in a way.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
was the best slot.
I was one of those people that had like every single stat on my monk weapons in 3.x. Like farmed the hell out of different like sets and stuff.
Mhm.
But
Oh shit, I did that too.
I
hell
did
yeah,
it.
man. Yeah.
You're insane.
What I did enjoy though was having like the PvE aspect. Like with wolf marks, you could actually buy like a set that can be used in PvE. I think that's really cool. Like I think that should be a thing. Like it was like 110, I think, for the Heaven's Ward, like the max level, and like 130 item level was like the max you could get from raids and stuff. So you could get like your foot in the door at least if you did a little bit of PvP. So why not? Like right now it's what 370. I don't remember what the max is. If you make it like
470.
470, my bad. So if you make it like 450, whatever you buy with wolf marks that you could use in PvE, what's wrong with that? Why not?
I've always
Yeah,
been
I guess so.
advocating people like crossing from PvP to like being able to use the same stuff.
But I wouldn't. I'm against having stats in PvP. Like,
Morale.
at least on year. Maybe you can choose your own stats. Like we had the 3% reduced damage, I guess.
Yeah.
And such. I like that. I like that part actually, since you could actually change your play a bit.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make somebody win this giveaway. Hold on. Let me press the button. Let's see. Manage. Draw. Do you guys know who Rosmo is? Rosmo, if you're in chat, this is a picture of a sad koala in a flannel t-shirt. If you let us know if you're in chat. If you respond, then we can get you hooked up with a Mog Station. There you go. We'll get you hooked up with a Mog Station item. Congratulations, not rigged.
Congrats.
Not rigged.
That's Frost's alt account.
Congrats, dude.
Yeah. I'll work with you after the show. We'll work on Twitch Whispers, and we'll get you up to a $25 Mog Station item. Now, getting near the end here, we've talked about a lot of topics. We're running kind of out of time. Is there anything that we missed that you guys want to make sure we hit on before I start asking my last question here?
Are we going to? Is the question about what the Square needs to do about the changes? What
would you say to?
Then I have nothing to say. Okay. I will say after.
Okay.
Hey, there's one question in chat.
What do you think of a PvP progression system? You know, I have a form for them to fill out for questions, right? So you don't see them, Thana, normally.
Oh, I'm sad.
Sorry. So I asked a couple of questions that showed up, but wasn't too crazy. But what do you think of a PvP progression system, Thana, since you brought it up?
I actually think that is I think I brought it up in the last show that I was in, but I think it would be a really good thing for PvP to have, which also fixes the. I have so many thoughts in my head. I'm just like saying.
Sure, let them cross.
5 sentences midway and not finishing them.
Yeah.
I think it would be actually a really healthy thing for PvP because I don't exactly know at this point in time what you could reward people with who don't play Feast and don't get into top 100. And I think a progression system of some sort. Think something like a prestige system in like Call of Duty or something like that. Like it's infinite. You don't always get something when you like level up. But like let's say every 5 levels, every 10 levels, and if you get to like you get something like significant sort of. And if you get to like 100, after that it becomes more sparse. So they don't have to develop as much stuff as they would have if it was every 10 levels, every like the whole way. So like you get random shit like more shit at the beginning. Like let's say 1 to 40 would be like a lot of stuff so that people keep playing and people see the rewards in front of them and they're motivated to play to get the stuff. And then 40 to 100 is kind of like more sparse, but it's like bigger things sort of to reward you for the dedication that you put into the mode. And then after 100 you get like every 50 levels maybe you get something, you know. Just to reward continuous play, but because right now there's nothing that rewards continuous play. So a progression system of some sort where I don't know if you get skill points to put into abilities.
Well, I mean, they did that in 3.x, right? With your ranks.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
But it was a good like base system, but the leveling itself was really boring, and you didn't get anything except ability points. So it would be more fleshed out. It would give you rewards, and it would motivate casual players to continuously play, which is the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems anyway in PvP right now.
Yeah.
Just add season pass in season 13, 15.
Where's our battle royale mode, boy?
Yeah, I think
10 euro on Mog Station.
I do honestly think that adding some sort of grindy element to PvP in some way would encourage people to do it. It's because people in this game love grinding shit, dude.
It's an RPG.
MMO.
Like inherent.
And you don't have anything in PvP. Like if you don't do top 100, you don't get anything, and that would be a pretty like easy to do.
Simple.
Sure, the rewards would take like probably a decent amount of development time, but it would be a very easy system to understand for players and to like implement. Simple. I think anyway. I'm not a programmer. Might be the toughest shit in the world, but it seems pretty simple and effective.
All right, let me go ahead and ask this last question so we don't go too far over a 3-hour show today. The last question here is, since we have a moment, we can just say, imagine for some reason Square Enix is watching and they want to hear what you have to say, and this is your chance to say something to them about PvP. I'm going to go in clockwise order here. So starting with Thana. No, other way.
Please don't reverse because I'm writing a comment to TJ Crimson.
Okay, going the other way. Gab, if you had something that you want to say to Square Enix right now, what would that be?
I have 3 things or 2. I don't. Give me a second. Let's start with the 2. Let's start with 2.
Okay.
They should nerf Dancer because like the physical DPS, the physical rated DPS, like. Why would you pick Bard and Machinist over Dancer? They have even an extra ability. They have a 10% increased damage and damage down. Like,
okay.
They have nothing else unique to them. Then bring back hard swaps. Like we barely hard swap in this meta.
I don't know what team
it's
looks
pure
like in
pressure.
game. I mean, like, does anyone have a lot of experience with Light Party right now?
I did it in 5.1, but 5.18 is completely different. This is different.
So hard swaps may come back in that, right?
On solo queue though, you don't do them.
Yeah.
Like I speak from solo queue perspective.
Okay.
There's no one going to change CC. This happens one in Moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost possible. This is what I propose. They should change Dancer mainly.
Okay.
And maybe do a bit on tweaks on the melee DPS, like Summoner, Samurai and how it's called? Monk, because they're too tanky in my honest opinion.
Okay.
And that's and tanks, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with only Paladin experience. Never mind. I won't say I'm happy with tanks. All right. Mateo.
I know it's like a tough pill to swallow, man, but really Frontlines needs to be a separate system than Feast. It cannot coexist. This current iteration is clearly aimed at Frontlines, with some little tweaks to make it bearable. Feast. So that would definitely be a thing. I'm sure it's not gonna happen. I'm sure it's not gonna happen, but it's just something that's probably worth considering for them, because. But at the same time, I guess like people get their feet wet in Frontlines and then they go into Feast. So I guess it's okay to keep them mechanically inclined.
Keep it balanced towards Feast.
Yeah.
But let it be possible to use the same system in Frontlines in some way. I don't know.
The other thing, man, since I guess it's a tall order as well. Like if you think about it, PvE does have a novice hall, I believe. I think this has been asked for a lot, actually. PvP needs that. It needs that. We're trying to emulate it with various communities. And to be perfectly honest, I've never been part of a community that's more helpful than some of the communities I've been in through PvP in this game. Like everybody wants to help. They might call you trash or whatever, but everyone wants help.
They want to help you because they want you to be good when you're on their team.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's in the best interest of everybody. The other thing, man, just communicate, please. Just talk to us. Like it's. I know it's a Japanese company, and it's just not what they really like to do. I'm being a little controversial, but just say. Just say something.
Right. It is not really. I don't think it's controversial to say because it is a pretty well-known fact.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Japanese companies, except for Capcom, comes to mind.
That's true. Yeah.
They don't really communicate with the players. It's just a culture, I feel like. But I don't know for sure. That's just what I've kind of figured.
To come to the defense of all that too, they do have live letters and they do have some ways that they do communicate and talk, but it's not like the community interaction.
Active communication.
Yeah, it's not that active communication, right?
Because you know what it feels like with this game entirely. I think it's honestly the same for PvE, Mage, whatever. I think they have a mentality of set it and forget it. I think they're making money, and adjustments come too slow, too scarce, and too far in between. For PvE too, man, 100%. Yeah, there's emergency maintenance sometimes. Like I remember that one instance of Ninja and how they didn't think players would use it a certain way and it was doing more damage or something. So I think they really need a little bit more quality control, as Thana says.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Brian.
I definitely think they should like at least hire some people for PvP. I don't know if they have like how the development team works or not, but in Japan they could definitely use some people like that. And also like the community teams for NA and EU, they can probably have someone more focused on PvP instead of like making everyone do everything. For the older modes, so like they like to leave content dead. So like the old Frontlines modes, Rival Wings and stuff, they need to have a roulette for it or something, or I don't know. Probably just a roulette would be the best thing.
I'm sure they will add that. They will make it a roulette after a while.
We've been waiting for that though for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
Thana?
Also, they should return 24-man. That's the last thing I'm gonna say.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, Thana.
I think the most feasible thing that I can like tell them that I really genuinely want is that what people already said. Someone in each region that is responsible doesn't need to be responsible for like PvP development specifically, but like just PvP communication. Just like someone who handles that, not that it's someone's side job, but someone who's actually like, and for PvE as well, obviously, yes. But more communication is like what it just boils down to. But like someone who just like communicates like small little changes may be coming, or season might be delayed for 7 months, type of shit. And then please, for the love of God, have someone in your quality control check Astro. For the love, please. What are you doing?
Well, all right. I think that's pretty good. I mean, you guys said a lot of stuff that I would be thinking about as well. And I know that it doesn't always work the same way on their end as we might imagine it would work or we would think, but we don't know because that communication doesn't exist. So, you know, I would love to see Square Enix move forward with people who are promoting content in their game. I mean, right now, again, the community team, I think, does a pretty good job for the job that they're given and they're told to do, and I do appreciate everything they do. I talk to them and I know them in some manner, at least, that I feel like they do a great job, but I feel like there should also be some sort of way that they have people who... It's like, hey, community, I hear all your concerns. Here's the concerns I'm hearing from you, and here's our responses to your concerns. And, hey, we're making these changes because this is how we think it should be. And not just every once in a while having a kind of side post about it. But I don't know. And again, you can't depend on your Final Fantasy XIV forums. Sorry. It's impossible to use that for any real metric.
Give the finger.
What? No.
Funny fact. Funny fact, by the way.
Yeah.
I think most of PvP players are banned on
Yes.
PvP forums.
It makes it very difficult because people get passionate and they get banned for being passionate. So it is what it is. All right, I guess we should go ahead and finish the show here. So I appreciate everybody that came to be part of this. Again, I wanted this show just to be about the PvP community and talking about where we are right now with PvP and Shadowbringers. I wasn't expecting some crazy advertisement for PvP or anything else. I just wanted to say I haven't had a PvP show in a while, and I just want to get around and sit around and talk about PvP, and I appreciate all of you guys for letting me do that. You guys are all amazing. Absolutely amazing. And
Good choice, man.
yeah. And I want you guys to do your shout-outs and let everybody know any last things that you want to say, to shout-outs to people or to where people could find you or anything else. And this time I am going to go clockwise, so I'm going to start with you, Thana.
I don't think I have any specific one person to give a shout out to because I've been gone for so long. I've cut all my connections to everyone except Frosty. Frosty, my boy, invited me to this show even though I watched that boy.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you for inviting me here, Frosty. Thank you to our like shout outs to the entire PvP Pasta server and the FOE server. Some of my favorite boys over there, especially I can shout out my FGG boys. You guys good. I like you. Especially you, Zegram, and your rage. It's nice.
There you go. All right. And can anyone find you literally anywhere, or do you just not you're not part of any Twitch or Twitter or anything.
Well, if you've known me from the stuff that I did like back like 1.5 years ago, maybe one year ago, YouTube and streaming and everything else, you could find me there, but I don't really stream these days. It's just a mentality thing and like my current situation thing. So I don't really do it. So I don't think there's any point in. But like you can start see my Twitch under me. So
okay.
If I ever decide to, that's where you'll find me. But really, the best place to find me is on Discord on PvP. So
there you go. All right, Brian.
Just shout outs to everyone who still plays PvP and supporting it and watching and stuff. I know it's rough because we don't get communication and sometimes the patch is not the best, but we have hope a little bit.
Okay.
You can find me on my Twitch. I'll link it in chat right here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Mateo?
Yeah, definitely resonate with what Brian said. I think shout out to Synergy6. Shout out to my rate group. Shout out to PvPython. Shout out to definitely all the people that played for sure.
Okay.
It's been real, man.
That sounded kind of sad because almost like
it sounds grim.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's been real.
Sorry, I think I'm getting tired.
Okay.
You can only be so toxic. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. All right. And Gab?
Shout out to my team, Feels Cladman, to my friends on Fall, and my static, my PV static. Shout out to them too. As for the last, I want to say the last thing,
Sure.
the most important one. Buff Dragoon, please.
Okay.
Can I give one shout out? Like
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Person in the chat who's called Boy Band Hair. I want to give a shout out to you. Your shout out. It was a good one. But like generally, it was a good shout out.
Okay. All right. Good. All right, guys.
I have one too, real quick.
Oh
Sorry.
my God. All right, go.
I usually do this, but shout out to LB's Butthole. We love you. As usual, I shout out his. Yeah. Anyway, I'm good.
What
Thank
the
you.
fuck? I don't even know what he's talking about. That's all right.
Yeah.
Guys.
Thank you.
Damn, Mike, stop it. All right. Thank you, everybody who came to watch the show again. Thank you, everybody who's on the show. Thank you, Square Enix, for being supportive in the ways that they have for what we do here. And thank you very much. Of course, Andre Kane for the music in the intro and the closing of the show, and Blazana for the artwork that we have on the show that we use for the layout, and Kroar for being my emotional support. I do want to go ahead and let you guys know I have no clue what next week's show is going to be on. I haven't really found the topic that I want to hit yet. Hopefully I'll find that out in the next couple days, and we'll get a show together for next weekend. I do want to definitely put some more last words here. It means a lot to everyone who is continuing to try to just be a part of the PvP community, and I know there's a lot of negativity. It gets more negativity than literally any other fucking community ever, just because of outside. And so we all kind of band together inside and support each other. Sometimes we light the fire a little bit too much, but I do appreciate the PvP community, especially for letting me be a part of it, and also letting me do the shoutcasting that I did there, and not completely trashing on me 100% from doing that. So thank you. That being said, guys, all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will be seeing you next week. Remember to be good, keep cool, and stay frosty. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, hold on. Can I mute? Can I figure it out?